should know. I have never really liked you at all. I cannot hide it anymore. I've been thinking about the future, trying to forget about the past. So many ways that I could change for the better.
This is a true crime discussions channel. We speculate. This is all just speculation. Because it's true crime, it's for mature audiences only. There will be no children allowed, no exceptions. Everything on this channel falls under fair use. Please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share. It's free. Hey y'all, it's good to see you this Monday, this manic Monday. Today we are going to talk about something really important. This child that is on the thumbnail is currently missing. He has been missing from Nova Scotia, Canada, since 2020. Politely ask you to get your notebooks and pens out. I will be doing the same so we can take notes and see what we can do to help. I don't know that we can help, but we're going to try. Definitely share the information, trying to get it out to people. The person who put this information out has a way bigger platform than I do, but I wanted to share this with my speculating family and get your thoughts on the situation, see what we can figure out. So real quick, I want to say hey to y'all, Abellis and Eek, my lovelies. It's good to see y'all. Eek says hit the like. Please hit the like if y'all don't mind. It helps us get in the algorithm. Hey, Pamela, Eek, Abellis, bad girl, good to see you. Shaboogies, Hobby Farmer, good to see you. Indie Girl, Hio, my lovely, good to see you today, love. Eek burped, oh my goodness. Indie Girl, Rubber Ramada, it's good to see you. Good to see you, love, good to see you. Serena, good to see you. Pisces, good to see you. Cara, good to see you. Good to see you. If I missed anybody, please let me know. Comment in the comment section and I will shout you out. So we're going to jump over to this lady right here. Let me pull up my screen. Hold on just a minute. Okay, this is Dutchess for the missing. She does a really good channel. Commander Alpha Turkey. I love that name. Thank you for being here. Hey, Kelly. Good to see you, love. Oh, thank you. My throat's cleared up some. So this is Dutchess for the missing. She does missing people. Sometimes she's able to talk to family members. I can assure you that from what I understand, they contact her and they will ask her to help put the information out. She does not contact them. So as you can see, she covers missing cases. Most importantly, tonight, she has a stream that's scheduled for 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. And it's titled Missing Flyers and Updates. Missing Flyers Monday is the title of it. So I will be there tonight, and I hope to see y'all there. She does a really good job of sharing the information, getting the information out. Real quick, before I start that, hold on just a minute, because I need to pull this up first. I meant to do this first. Hold on just a minute. Let me get this pulled up real quick, like. We're going to do it real quick, like. Alrighty, Roo. Okay, so this is missing child Norman, John Ehler. I think it's Ehler. And he's missing from Truro, Nova Scotia, Canada. And here's a picture of him. It states, missing child Dylan Norman John Ehler from Truro, Nova Scotia, Canada. The date he went missing was May 6th of 2020. He is 3 years old. He is Caucasian and he is Canadian. His right eye is half hazel and half blue. Left eye is hazel. He's a boy. He's about 3 feet tall. He weighed 32 pounds or 14.5 kilograms the last time that he was seen. Lord, I had to tell the kids stop playing with the rabbit toy that squeaks. All right. Sorry, back to this. His hair is blonde. He was last seen wearing a camo winter jacket with a fur hood. If you look, I think he might be wearing it in this picture right here. also on my thumbnail, there's a picture of him standing outside of a house, and it looks like it is the same jacket. So if you check the thumbnail, that could be what he was wearing. It had USA patches on the arms and chest. He had on a red dinosaur t-shirt, camo jogging pants, gray and orange rubber boots. He disappeared from Elizabeth Street in Truro, Nova Scotia, Canada. Dylan Ehler, age 3, was playing in the yard at his grandmother's house when he vanished. According to Dylan's father, on the 1st of January 2024, the boots found at the brook were not Dylan's boots. The circumstances of his disappearance are still unknown. Real quick, I'm going to see what we can pull on a news clip for it, and then we'll get into the interview with his family. I'm going to see if they did a news clip on it. Okay, let us see. Oh, there's Dutchess's stream. Let's see what this is. Hold on, I'm waiting for it to load. It says, last month, Nova Scotia's Police Review Board dismissed complaints made against the Truro Police Service by the parents of a 3-year-old boy who went missing more than 3 years ago. A decision Dylan Ehler's parents say has been devastating in their search for answers. I feel like I was slapped across the face, says Father Jason Ehler in a remote video interview. If it'll load, we'll watch it.
The father of a Nova Scotia child missing since 2020 says he is undeterred in his search for answers, even after his complaints to the province's Police Review Board have been dismissed. Dylan Ehler's parents had made those complaints against the Truro Police Service. Now Ehler's father has enlisted the help of a retired RCMP officer. CTV's Hafsa Arif has the story.
Last month, Nova Scotia's Police Review Board absolved the Truro Police Service, TPS, of complaints raised by the parents of 3-year-old Dylan Ehler, who's been missing for 3 years. The decision, devastating to the parents.
I feel like I got slapped in the face.
Dylan's parents, Jason Ehler and Ashley Brown, accused Truro police of failing to adequately investigate their son's disappearance. They claim the police failed to explore every avenue.
Not getting what I need. And that's the best way I can explain it, with the police side of communications after the hearing.
Jason Ehler, she said it correctly, and I'm sure he'll say the last name correctly as we listen to the stream, but that is who Dutchess interviewed. I will be open with y'all. I have not watched the stream. I wanted to watch it with you guys, and so we could kind of, get the information together at the same time. I will say, so sorry, real quick. Michelle said, I thought it said 1/6/2024. On the poster, it does say 1/9/2024, and that was in reference to, according to Dylan's father, on the 9th of January 2024, the boots found at the brook were not Dylan's boots, and then the circumstances of his disappearance are still unknown. Now, quickly, we're gonna, like I said, I don't know much about this case. I'm gonna learn it with you guys in real time. I feel his frustration as a parent. I don't feel his frustration. I could never know what that feels like. But I've often thought about, as a parent of a missing child, if it's been a long time and your child hasn't been found, I think we would all feel like the police aren't doing their job, while they might be. Now, again, I don't know this whole case. I understand where he's coming from. That's a hard spot to be in. You feel like they should be able to find them. I feel like even with Sebastian Rogers and other cases, like, call the FBI in. The FBI could tell me if I farted and the wind was blowing east, northwest, and at what degree, right? But you can't find all these missing children. Like, I don't get it. And I think that's where a lot of people are with the, if they have a missing child and the police aren't finding them.
but it's been the same before the hearing.
Jason Ehler has been looking for his son Dylan almost every day since he went missing. The boy disappeared from his grandmother's house in Truro in May of 2020. Searchers only finding his rubber boots in a nearby brook. In its decision, the Nova Scotia Police Board said, quote, "We are satisfied that TPS acted reasonably, initially responding to the report of a missing child and the subsequent actions investigating." In a statement to CTV, the Truro Police Service says the Truro Police Service participated fully in the Nova Scotia Police Complaints Commission Review Board process. The review board carefully considered all the evidence and documentation presented at the hearing, and we respect their decision in this matter. But for Ehler, this video is a major sticking point. He believes this cadaver dog with Nova Scotia Canine Rescue may have found something during the search 3 years ago, but the dog's handler didn't give evidence at the hearing. Retired New Brunswick RCMP officer Gillis Blinn is now helping Ehler with his search. He believes communication between Truro Police and Dylan's parents needs to improve.
They're going through a hard time as well. I've never lost a child, and I hope I never do. But I can just imagine the pain and the suffering that they're going through, and as well as these officers that tried their best.
Truro Police told the review.
It would be a hard place to be in, right? Because like I just said, you know, the FBI can tell you, you know, if you've got a pimple on your nose, but they can't tell you where all these missing children are. It's so frustrating because I'm like, there's a way you could find out. Like, you mean to tell me, like I just said, you could tell me right now while I'm sitting inside of a house, probably with a blanket over my head, that I had a pimple on my nose, but you can't tell me where all these missing children are. I could not imagine the pain that this family and others with missing children feel. You have to add in that, you know, the not knowing where your child is. It makes it even worse. And I'm so sorry that him or anybody else is having to deal with that. I could not imagine. And my heart goes out to them.
Review board, the missing persons case remains open, and Ehler isn't finished his search either.
Moving forward, we're going to appeal their decision. I'm going to fight them. I can't afford another $7,000 for a lawyer, so I'm going to fight them by myself and appeal.
Hafsa RFC TV News, Halifax.
All right. So that's the news clip on that. With that, we will get into Miss Dutchess for the missing stream. I dropped the StreamYard link if anybody wants to come up. Hold on just a minute. Okay. I'm going to play her intro, but I had to turn the music off. I saw that Mommy Ball came in. Hi, Mommy Ball. I like that. That's like the Law and Order background. All right. Okay, so she comes up, and I think they're all on panel. All righty. I don't know if she's using epidemic sound. If not, I could get in trouble. I like her little intro. It's cute. You know, since I've seen a lot more people doing the, you know, content not allowed for children under 18. And I like that. I'm glad that people are saying that. Oh, I thought I skipped it ahead. Hold on, y'all. I think she's about to come up. There we go.
Welcome, everybody, to Dutchess Discussions. We're live from Myrtle Beach. I'm going to play our fair use copyright. And
real quick, Dutchess for the Missing's link is pinned at the top of the comment section. She's also in the description box. Please give her a like and subscribe. The other person you see right here. Oh, yeah, you can see my mouse. This person, Artic, True Crime, Artic Fox True Crime. He does missing posters and missing people's information as well. I will drop his link in the description box, and I will drop it in the chat. I figured out how I can access my chat, but I've still got to figure out how to gift memberships and things like that. 23 pounds. Oh. Hey, Natasha. Hey, Toxic. Oh. That's so sweet. Sorry, I was reading. I should have read it out loud. I love fur babies. Basil, by the way, is over here on the bed, laying in the sunlight with his little black back legs laid out. Y'all, he'll stretch, and like, you know how you stretch and you'll like make your calf muscles tight and you'll like stand up on your tiptoes and lift your arms up in the air. Well, he does that with his back legs, and you can see like his thighs. I don't know. It's just so cute the way he stretches. Have you ever seen a rabbit stretch? It's just the most cutest thing. And then when they yawn and you can see their little teeth and their little tongue, it is the cutest. All right. Sorry. Back on topic. Again, please get your notebooks and your pencils ready.
Now get started. Copyright disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing.
Oh, Cara, that's so sweet. I'm glad they liked it.
Okay, guys, welcome back to the podcast. My name is Dutchess, and I have two special guests with me tonight. Welcome, Artic Fox True Crime. Thank you so much for being on panel with me tonight. We are going to be talking about the case of the disappearance of Dylan Ehler out of Nova Scotia, Canada. And I do have a special guest that is joining Artic and I tonight, and that is Jason Ehler, which is Dylan's father. Please welcome Jason to the live stream. Thank you so much, Jason, for joining us to be here to talk about the disappearance of your son.
Anything for my son, anything to spread awareness.
Well, we do appreciate you being here because this case, I did not know about your son missing, but I do have some moderators and I have members and subscribers that live in Canada. So I'm sure they're very familiar with this case. So I think I've had a special request to cover this case, and I started digging in, and Artic Fox started digging in. And this is really concerning about how all of this took place. So I'm just going to go over here and just kind of say hey to everybody. I want to welcome everybody in. I want to get, on into the conversation, but I do appreciate everyone being here.
So we're going to talk about his son that's missing. I just dropped the link for Artic Fox True Crime. I also dropped the link if anybody wants to come up on panel to talk about this. This is going to be his father. Still looking for his son that is missing, and we're going to find out more about the case.
Please don't forget to like this stream and share this stream out for awareness, because Dylan is still...
Y'all, see, I forget to hit the like button too. You have to tell me to hit the like button just like I have to tell y'all. So again, please don't forget to hit the like button. Oh, I did hit it on this one. Okay, good. Make sure y'all check. Make sure you're hitting the like button for your favorite creators. It helps them. It'll push the video out into the algorithm.
Still actively missing, and he has been missing for quite some time, since 2020, May of 2020. And I do have a flyer that I made. There are several flyers that are actually going around, and I did send this to Jason today, and he told me that it was something that I needed to change on his flyer. But we're going to go over the details of this, and I'm going to let Jason.
So the one she sent me might not be changed, but she said there is something that needs to be changed on the flyer. So let's make sure we're paying attention. Hey, that was so sweet and so supportive of you. Thank you for gifting 20 memberships. I really appreciate that. That was so sweet and so supportive. Thank you. I will play our clip. Thank you so much for that, Eek. Real quick, I did add, there was badges I needed to add. So if you're a member for 3 months, you get like gold stars, because that goes with the background of my channel. I've changed some things because I love stars, like in constellations, space, and things like that. And most of the time, like when it's in the beginning of each season, we'll do seasonal stuff. But when it's just like, this time period kind of in between, we're going to do stars and stuff. I made this overlay that's hold on just a minute for people coming up and things. I did add gold stars to the membership badges. And then there's one, I think at 6 months, you get one that says family, because we are the Speculating family. I'm still working on the members clip because I want to do a Crazy Train song. I've got a clip that I want to use, but I got to figure out what kind of audio we're going to use. Eek, that was super sweet of you again. But do know that I am working on things with the channel, so hopefully I can figure out something to do with the members clip. Yes, we are a star team, a Speculating family. I love all of you so much. All right, I apologize for distracting and talking about the revamping of the channel a little bit. We'll get back to this. So she said something needed to be changed on the poster. I don't know if she's changed it with the one she sent to me or not. We shall see.
Jason talked to us about what needs to be changed. And when we're done with this live stream, I'm going to update it, have him to approve it. We're going to get this flyer circulating around. Dylan Norman John Ehler is missing from Truro, Nova Scotia, Canada. And he was 3 years old when he went missing on May the 6th of 2020. He is a Caucasian male. His nationality, he's Canadian. His right eye is half hazel and half blue, and his left eye is blue. Is that correct, Jason?
I think it's hazel. I think there's some mistakes in the posters.
Okay, well, you can make sure that you let me know all the details that we need to change, and we can make sure that we get that corrected.
No problem.
He's 3 feet tall when he went missing and 32 pounds. He has blondish brown hair, it looks like in the pictures. He was wearing a camo winter jacket with a fur hood and USA patches on the arms and chest, a red dinosaur t-shirt, camo jogging pants, gray and orange rubber boots. The location of the disappearance occurred at Elizabeth Street at his grandmother's house, and that was in Truro, Nova Scotia, Canada.
Mommy Ball, you'll have to let me know if that one's better. Now it looks like a birdie. Shuttlecock. You don't like none of my backgrounds, do you? Natasha says, I will need to renew tonight because my gift expires tomorrow. I would like to give someone else to and pay it forward. Oh, that's sweet. I think you can do it by clicking the little dollar symbol at the bottom, but I'm not sure. That was sweet. You don't have to do that, but thank you, Natasha. All right, back on track.
Apparently his grandmother had taken the dog out and she turned her back to tie the dog up. And when she turned around, Dylan had disappeared. Now, I understand that the recovery of his boots suggests.
Okay, somebody had told me in the comment section, somebody had said he was playing outside by himself. Oh, my goodness. And we just heard, I said, I really don't think so. But we just heard that she turned her back to tie the dog up or to put him on the leash, and she come back and he was gone. That's interesting because I wonder if the dog was barking or something at the time because the dog saw something that grandma maybe didn't. So she goes to tie the dog up to keep him from barking or going after something that he might have seen. And then the boy goes missing. Oh my goodness. It was funny. Okay, good. Toxic said, I'm going to lurk. I need to do your diamond painting so I can kit up a new painting. Awesome. I like to diamond paint. I like that stuff. Thank you for listening. Yeah, someone took him, Shaboogies. That's what it sounds like.
Suggested that he may have fallen into the river, but the exact circumstances are unknown. And to go near the water would have not been like him. And there was no other signs that were found. If you see any information circulating on the internet with Dylan's flyer, please share that. And if you have any tips or any information, please do call the Truro Police Department, or you can call the Crime Stoppers there in Canada, and the number is on this flyer. Now, Jason, the day that this occurred, talk to me about what exactly happened. So how was your son? Was the grandmother babysitting him?
So me and his mom got into a no contact order a week prior to his disappearance.
Okay.
So in fact, I wasn't even there that day. So I can tell you my story. So
Okay,
go
ahead.
I woke up at my mom's house due to the no contact order. May 6th, I was really eager to have Dylan, like, was really eager to have him. So I messaged Ashley, I messaged Dorothy, the grandmother, no response. I remember me and my mom getting into a little bit of an argument about having him over because my dad was in the hospital with gangrene on his toes, so he was getting them chopped off.
Oh no.
So it was kind of an argument. And then after that argument, I talked to victim services for almost 2 hours. I was having a rough time. So I talked to them for a little bit with no contact order. Me and Ashley were together for 13 years, so it was different. COVID-19 had just taken place. We just got into the lockdown around that time, give or take.
That's hard for me to understand. You know, I understand that parents don't always get along. Sometimes a breakup or you know, things happen to make people not like each other. But just like, I mean, I don't mean to keep referencing the Sebastian Rogers case, but just like with that case, I would hope that, you know, when you have a child that's missing, you can work past that and work together to try to bring your child home. And I'm sure that if it could happen, they would. It sounds like that it was hard for him with a no contact order in place, especially dealing with something like that. Like, I couldn't imagine having to deal with something like that. And then you've got somebody that you were with for 13 years that you can't talk to, and y'all have a child in common. I really, my heart goes out to him.
We were all laid off of our work.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it was more intense in the household. We're all around each other all the time. It was just different. We got into an argument. It escalated. And that's what happened with no contact order. Anyway, after I was done talking to victim services, I tried messaging Ashley and the grandmother, Dorothy Parsons, again, no response. So me, my mom, my sister, Felicia, my mom's name is Lynn, they went to...
I was like...
so we all got into a car. I remember I drove. It was my mom's car. We decided to go to the grandmother's first because it was along the way to my house, but I wasn't allowed there, so we'll say Ashley's place for now.
Okay.
And so on the way, Dorothy's was closer, the grandmother, so I figured I'd stop there to just see if he was there. I remember driving towards the house. I remember we stopped at Needs right quick to buy a drink. Got back in the car. As we approached the grandmother's house, I remember a cop car being in the yard, female officer standing in the driveway, and you know, I never really thought anything of it, right? I was just like, I obviously you knew there was something up. There's a cop in the yard, but you'd never think it was your son, right? Especially a 3-year-old child. So
Right.
we roll up, and I get into the car, and the cop said, "Are you Jason Ehler?" I said, "Yes, I'm just here to see if my son's here. If Ashley's here, I don't want to breach conditions or anything like that." And the officer said, "No." She said, "Are you Dylan's father?" And I said, "Yes." And then that's when she told me that Dylan was missing. And Dylan had been missing for almost 3 hours at that point. So I remember hitting the ground onto my knees.
Oh my God.
I remember crying, and the shock hit like crazy.
I could not imagine somebody telling me that my child was missing. I mean, God. This says missing child, Dylan Norman John Ehler. And it says Dylan's right eye is half hazel, half blue, and split vertically. And there's pictures of him. He was born April 16th, 2017. Missing since May 6th of 2020. And here's a depiction of the clothes he was last seen wearing. He is so cute, Eek.
Wow.
Yeah. So I walked right into it, didn't see it coming.
I can only imagine. the pain that you must be going through, because May 6, 2020, quite some time has passed and you still don't have any idea where Dylan is.
No, and at that time we were just trying to figure out how to get through the mass shooting that just happened in Truro, Nova Scotia. We had Canada's biggest mass shooting in Nova Scotia, where an officer a guy dressed up as a cop and drove around with a replica cop car, RCMP, and killed 23 people in our area.
I remember hearing about that. There was an officer that pretended to be, or it wasn't an officer, a man pretending to be an officer, and then just shooting a bunch of people. It was crazy. Toxic said, I can imagine this. I nearly died when my son got lost coming home from school in grade 7 as he had to take public transportation. I could not imagine that. I'm so sorry that ever happened. Toxic said the police were on it the second I called him in missing. They alerted all the buses to keep a lookout for him too. Yeah, I could not imagine. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to any of you who have experienced anything close like this, to the parents of him, to other missing children. Oh my God.
Did see that. That was in April, just a month.
Yeah.
Right before.
Yeah, so we were dealing with a lot of stuff. So it was a crazy month, or a crazy year, really, 2020. But
definitely. That was I do remember that happening. I think 22 people.
23, because it was 22 people, but there was a pregnant woman, so we say the 23.
Okay. Well, that does make sense.
In respect of the baby, right? So.
I understand that. Absolutely. So that is so very scary. I can only imagine what's been going through your mind since that time. So when all of this happened, I know we were talking about the boots, because on this poster, now I have to ask you, does Dylan have any medical concerns? Was he on any medications? Did he have anything going on? Okay, no. Good to know. And we talked about the description along with these gray and orange rubber boots. Talk to me about the boots.
So boots were found by RCMP divers. There's it's very, with the whole cop thing, we took the cops to a police complaint commissioner. There's a lot of wrongdoings they did, and a lot of cover-ups, and even the deputy chief retired, and search and rescue, head of Colchester search and rescue actually lost respect to the chief. Whole bunch of crazy stuff, but what the cops say is the RCMP dive team found his boots, one between 7 and the second one at around 7:30 p.m. that night of his disappearance. Yes, they were orange and gray.
Okay. And
but then basically Ashley and her mother, identified them to being Dylan's boots. I didn't identify them because I wasn't there. I don't know what he was wearing. Hell, I don't even know what his boots look like at the time, because going to work and everything, last thing you're worried about is a pair of boots, right? So
right.
I couldn't identify anyway. I wasn't there that day.
So this is interesting. It sounds like boots were found in the creek, but we remember, because she's fixed the missing poster since then, that the missing poster said they're not his boots. So that's interesting. I'm wondering why Mom and Grandma identified them as his boots when they weren't his boots. Toxic said, turns out he got mixed up on where to catch the bus and kept taking the bus going in the wrong direction. A kind woman showed him the way to the right bus and paid for his fare, and his pass had expired. Well, I'm glad that she did that. When you see things out there, see something, say something. If somebody looks like they need help, I try to help them. If somebody's walking around or I see them looking a little confused, I always try to see if I can help, because it might be just like that, a child going the wrong way on the bus and could use a little bit of help getting the right way. I love you guys too. All right. We'll continue listening about the boots. I'm curious about this situation. Okay.
So
now, from what I understand about the boots that I read, Jason, I wanted to ask you before you continue. The thing that got me about the boots was, I understand that when they first searched, apparently there is, I guess there's like a part that runs to the Salmon River right behind the grandmother's home. And
hey, Trixie, good to see you, love.
When they originally searched, I was told that the boots were not originally found, but they were found, several hours later. when they were searching. And that is odd for the boots to just be sitting there in the water. But
So
Dylan,
it goes a little different than, well, so the problem is there was a big delay on taking Dylan being missing seriously, and that's on the police. So it took 3 hours and 8 minutes for them to relay to what do you call it? My mind's blank. To EMO that there was a missing child. So there was a
Okay.
big delay on his alert for the non-intrusive alert, and then there's a big delay on getting search and rescue on boots on the ground. There was a delay of, well, it took almost 2.5 hours for search and rescue to get boots on the ground. And I noticed comments from head of Colchester Communications. I have a post, actually, a screenshot from May 6th, complaining about the times that they had to go out. And, when they leave their families, it wasn't a good feeling because the critical time's already over. So they're going out to search for someone that's no longer alive, most likely. So we had concerns on that. There's a big screw up when it came to first.
Why would that be posted somewhere where the family could read it? That, they're leaving their families and they don't want to because the person they're looking for might not be on this earthly plane anymore. Like, why would that be posted where people could see it?
Searching for my son.
Oh,
so
well,
it's probably the delay in finding the boots, but the whole boot thing doesn't make sense anyways, and we'll get to that.
Yeah, because there's a big discrepancy in whether the boots are even the right size to be Dylan's or not.
So it gets bigger than that. So Dorothy and his mother identified his boots wrong. So the boots were bought 2 weeks prior to his disappearance. And then his mom calls me, I think it was only 6 months ago from today. And she said she had a meeting with the police. She was crying. She said, I made the biggest mistake of my life. I identified Dylan's boots wrong. So she was watching a video of Dylan, just bringing back memories. And she came across a video of him running across the kitchen, and it wasn't too far from when he disappeared. So it was, in that year, or within a few weeks of his disappearance. It was around his birthday, I do believe. And he went missing 2 weeks after his birthday. Anyway, she was watching the video and stopped the video and realized that the boots that the cops found are in fact not Dylan's. So that's why I'm going on Global News. Actually, this Monday, I'm not allowed to say where I'm going to do the interview. People that try to destroy my life right now, it's kind of sick. They got a big group, and I've been working on trying to get it shut down. They've been terrorizing everybody for years. But the boots aren't Dylan's, and it's a big 4-year fuck up, basically. So, and I'm angry at the.
So for 4 years, they've been thinking that this little boy, because they found his boots by the creek, more than likely this little boy was in the creek, maybe down in the mud where it's like almost like quicksand and you get caught. And unfortunately, they weren't his boots. Well, fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you want to look at it. So the whole time they've been looking in this generalized area, and he might not have been there at all. She did tell me that he was going on Global News, and we did just play a video clip from Global News. I'm going to double check that. He's supposed to be going on today. I wonder if that's that news clip or not. I'll have to take a look and see. So for 4 years, pretty much, they've been looking and, thinking that those were his boots by the creek. And it wasn't him. Those weren't his boots. So this child could, we need to be sharing this information and getting his poster out, because he could be anywhere. I wonder if they have an age progressed poster of him and what he would look like now.
The police on that aspect too, because when the boots were identified. So what are the statistics? 95% of the time it's a family member or a friend. So why didn't the cops make sure 100% that those were Dylan's boots? Because they had the information that they were bought 2 weeks prior to his disappearance. So they could have went to Walmart where the grandmother stated she bought them, went on videos and receipts and stuff like that, and actually seen what boots she bought. And unfortunately, none of that was done by police. So they tried that 3 weeks ago, I think, or a few months ago anyway. The Truro police actually went to Walmart.
Real quick, that was from August 14th of 2023. So there should be a new one, but I did see this. I'm going to share this with you real quick. It was an age progressed photo It says there's an age progressed photo. And this was in 2022, so it would have been 2 years ago. So we can see what he might have looked like about 2 years ago. Okay, that's what the sketch is, I guess. In the, oh my goodness. You know what I really hate? I hate that when you go to click on a news article or something, there's 500 advertisements. Like, it makes me so irritated. So I guess these are age progressed pictures of Dylan. Hold on, we got to wait for it to load 500 ads. Like, why not just have the article and the information the person's looking for instead of 500 ads that have to load and slow the computer down? I really can't stand it. It irks me. I use Pinterest a lot. It happens there too. Thank you. So this looks like video clip. Hold on a minute, just a second. Hold on just a minute. This was November 1st of 2022. Trying to get it to load real quick. Of course, it's going to load an ad.
Do you know the second worst food for?
Okay. Oh my goodness. Here we go. All right, so this was November 1st of 2022. Yeah, I'd like you to play. I've only clicked play about 7 times now.
You're watching Global Halifax. This is Global News Morning.
Welcome along Tuesday, November 1st. It's going to take me a couple of hours to get used to saying that, Elise. November on your calendars of 2022. Yeah. As we say, good morning, welcome along to Global News Morning, off and rolling dark and early with Paul and Elise. How you doing?
Good. Yes. A few more cups of coffee before the November kicks in. I was sending an email last night, and of course I sent it off October to veterans for the next couple weeks anyway, for sure. Happy post-Halloween. How did it all go for you in Bedford last night?
Oh my gosh.
82 trick-or-treaters last night at my...
I think a little busier than we thought. We did get a couple people who came down. So
okay, y'all, I'm skipping it ahead to try to get to the pertinent information
that he takes with him. Ended up being Halloween treats for
to start the day.
It's the day. It's looking a little wet. Thank goodness this rain has held. The details, your daytime highs and conditions, everything.
Blair was back before the committee looking into the 2020 mass shooting in Nova Scotia. He stressed that there was no political interference by the federal government into the investigation. Take a listen.
The reality is, in all my conversations with the commissioner, at no time did I direct her, ask her, or even suggest that she release that information. At no time did the commissioner promise me that she was going to do it.
Blair said he would only testify about what he has said, and that testimony RCMP Commissioner Brenda Lucki previously gave before committee should be clarified by her. Both Blair and Lucki were called back to testify after audio recordings were recently released of a call between the commissioner and her subordinates just days after the shooting. The recordings also prompted the Conservatives to call on Blair and Lucki to resign.
Okay. I'm about to skip this because I don't know. I was trying to see the age progression.
Has been charged again for an earlier murder now. Charges against Adam Drake for the 2016 murder of Tyler Kaiser were refiled.
I apologize about that, y'all. I'll have to work on that and get that pulled up at a later date because it's not what it was labeled as being, which irritates me. I hate when I go to click on a news article to see something like an age progressed photo of a child and you're telling me about 500 other things. Can we not just get the clip with the age progressed photo, please? But y'all saw the sketches, so that's good. Hey, Dutchess. Good to see you.
To Walmart to try to retrieve all this stuff 4 years later. And Walmart only holds that stuff for 2 years, so it backfired on them. But that's more stress. It's like, why didn't you guys check that out 4 years ago? And now we're in this big fucking problem that the boots aren't his. It's been 4 years. They were identified wrong. So why were a pair of boots in the brook the same time my son went missing? You know, so it more looks like someone planted them. So why was there another? Why was are a brand new pair of boots in the brook at the same time my son went missing, but then they're identified wrong, so they're not his. So what were them boots even doing?
Yeah, that was a question I had in my mind too. And you guys let me know what you think. Why was there a pair of boots in the brook at the same time he went missing? And I mean, I didn't know they looked brand new. I would assume that they looked used, but I mean, a brand new pair of boots near the brook the same time he goes missing is weird. Mommy Ball, I can't pull up Google Maps on my phone. I'm going to try to pull it, or on my computer. I'll try to pull it up on my phone and see what we can pull on that. That is terrifying, isn't it? Like, why would a brand new pair of boots be placed there? That's weird. Right, Michelle?
Doing to begin with in that area. It's real messed up.
I noticed on your Facebook
I'm
page,
angry about it, so I get a little upset when I talk about it.
No one can fault you for that.
That's understandable. Now, I did
I
notice
searched the whole Bay of Fundy, right? I searched the whole Bay of Fundy, and it's took me 3.5 years to do it. And I'm like, I feel like it wasn't a waste of time, but now I feel like it was a waste of time. I could have been doing other things because of this big screw up. But go ahead, guys.
So, where the location that the grandmother lives to the Bay of Fundy, how far is that? I mean, that river looks like it runs pretty rapid through there.
So the brook.
Trixie, thank you for dropping his TikTok. Trixie has dropped the dad's TikTok, Jason Ehlers, for the father of missing Dylan Ehlers, and I'm trying to pull up the Elizabeth Street now and see if I can screenshot it.
Runs probably 300-400 meters. So from behind the grandmother's house, we'll say the brook is right there, probably 150 meters, 200 meters from her house. You can walk down to the brook, maybe 300 meters. And from behind her house to the actual mouth of the river, or the mouth of the brook into the Salmon River, it's probably another 300 meters from there to actually get out to the river. His boots were found. The boots that his mom and the grandmother thought were his never left the brook. They were both submerged in the brook, but one was found in the brook underwater. The water would hit corner of the wall in the brook, and it would cause erosion. And in that erosion, there was a shopping cart, and in the shopping cart was his first boot submerged underwater. And then the second one was underneath the train bridge, closer to the mouth of the river. Both boots stayed in the brook. A lot of debris, a lot of fences. They call it fences, like logs crossing, stuff like that. I even remember Search and Rescue saying, I don't see how he would have made it through this brook. And then we got cops saying that the brook was up to their chest, but in pictures, they're not even up to their waist. So there was a lot of exaggeration. But that's what we were being told. But I think they dropped the ball at that time. So they were it's a mess.
Trixie also dropped his YouTube channel. Thank you for that. I was able to screenshot pictures of Elizabeth Street. I'm about to email them to myself, and we'll have a look in just a second. Mommy Ball, do you know how to use StreamYard? Because I can drop the link and you can come up and share this information. Like, I don't know if you know how to share. I don't really know how to do it, but I could post what you're pulling up on my screen. I don't know how to pull what you're pulling. She says a 4-wheeler path crosses a creek near the end of Elizabeth Street. Then you're 300 yards from Salmon River. 200 feet the other way are train tracks. I'm going to keep trying to pull stuff up. I'll show you what I've got, but I'll drop the link in case you want to come up. And if you know how to like share your screen, I can share it on here and we can look at what you're seeing. So Shabugi said they thought they were his boots. So are those not confirmed as his boots? Shabugi's, so they thought in the beginning, actually for 4 years, that those were his boots. But then the mother was looking at pictures and videos of the little boy, you know, kind of in remembering him close to his birthday. And she saw a video of him walking across the kitchen floor with those boots on and realized they were not the same boots as the ones found in the creek. And then the dad is saying that they're placed there and they appear to be like a brand new pair of boots. So I'm wondering, why were they placed there? Like, if they were placed there, but then you're telling me, like, I just heard there's a shopping cart in the river and things like that. So that, I mean, were they I mean, it's just, even, I would say where they like dump there, like, is it a place where trash and debris would be dumped? But even at that, it's weird to have a child's pair of boots there. Oh, sorry. Dutchess said Jason stated the boots found are not Dylan's. Oh, you're good, Dutchess. Thank you. Yeah, so they're not Dylan's. They seem to be, or he thinks that they might have been placed there, but they're not his. And for 4 years, unfortunately, they thought they were.
A messy case and a lot to do with the cops.
Well, in my opinion, they dropped the ball right off the bat by not issuing an Amber Alert right off Jump Street, because had they done that, this case could be completely different now.
Yeah.
Yep. I remember. So it's small town police, Truro police. I remember the RCMP saying if he had arrived on scene and they couldn't find that child within 10 minutes, they would have called all resources. So, they broke protocol when we took them to court. We learned from our lawyer that, for an example, Sergeant Hunka, Truro police officer, was first on scene. He should have been IC of the search or CI of the search, IC of the search. He should have been in control, should have been able to call in all the resources, but that's not what happened. The deputy chief took over his duties. Told Sergeant Hunka, I'm taking over. It took an extra hour for EMO to send out the alert because the chief didn't know his address of his disappearance. So why would it take 3 hours to get an address of a missing child when apparently you guys showed up within 4 minutes? So how is there a giant 3-hour delay with EMO? And then they tried to blame EMO. If you watch W5 News, they get caught in a couple of good lies, and it stands the hair right up on you. It's horrible.
Wow.
It's
So I was just, while you were talking, I pulled up a map of Truro, and I was just trying to take a look here.
Okay.
It looks like it's, kind of a small town, and you can see how the Salmon River, just kind of cuts, right through that area, and then it comes out into that bay area. Is that where the Bay of Fundy is?
When it opens up and gets bigger, yes. So the Salmon River, you probably see the 102 highway bridge.
I'll share
And
my
probably
screen, and we can take a look.
probably a mile after that, it opens into the bay.
Okay.
Then the bay opens
She's got
into
a
Atlantic.
better image. Okay, so she's got a better image. It was doing that because I was trying to pull up what I screenshotted. Okay, so I'm sure she's going to show us more. Hold on. I'm going to play this for a minute while I pull up what I screenshotted, but it's just the normal, like, Google Maps image that, you get, like, when you're trying to drive somewhere. I don't have the picture like she does that shows the grass and all of the different plots and things like that. I almost got it pulled up. Let's see. So this is what I pulled. Like, this is just what I could screenshot real quick. That's Elizabeth Street right here. And then you can see over here is Leopard Brook. And then a smaller part of the creek goes back this way. So Elizabeth Street is a dead end road, which is weird because to go down Elizabeth, I mean, unless he lives like right here on the corner of this Queen Street, you would have to go down the road to get him out of his grandma's house. Like, you would have to, it's a dead end road. So somebody would have had to go down there, turn around and come back up to see that child. It's not like a regular street like this down here. You know what I mean? So that's interesting. And then we have Leopard Brook here and a creek going this way. And this is the more zoomed out. So you have Elizabeth Street here again. It's a dead end. Like, if somebody was driving this Queen Street, it might be different because that's going to have traffic going back and forth. But to turn down this street, that's a dead end. You would have to, there would have to be a reason for you to be there. You'd have to know where that child was. Unless, like I said, he lived up here where somebody driving by could have seen him in the yard. And then you have the two brooks that goes into this river here that looks like it's a lot bigger. Now we'll go back to Dutchess's map. That is way better. Let me know if y'all can hear me, because it just popped up this thing saying that I was not being heard or something. Okay. Hold on just a minute. trying to dig into this while we go over it. All right, let us continue with the lovely Duchess.
A circle here, and looks like all along here
Yeah,
is the
so
Salmon
the
River.
blue
Oh, my
the blue
leg.
dot is where we're
Running right
missing.
along.
So the Salmon River, you see the bridge right there. Where are we at here? So you see where the field opens up? You're actually right at the mouth where the map is right now. Just leave it right there. That's where it opens up into the bay. So right there. You can just see it open right up.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, I see where the Truro Nissan is. It looks like the Salmon River starts to get bigger right about here where this bridge is, where 102 is. And I think when I enlarged it, it says the Fundy Discovery Site right here.
Yep, it's probably a kilometer past that, and then
So
it's.
that's why I was wondering if this is.
It's one of the 7 wonders of Atlantic Canada, I do believe.
Got it.
It has a wave that goes up and down a river, right? So it's pretty different.
Ehler, the last 3 areas were.
Oh, wow.
Just looking for the last 3 years, searching these areas.
So I'm assuming this brown here is the river. And I mean, you can see how big that gets. I mean, that is absolutely huge, considering that, like, these little dots. I mean, look at the size of the road compared to the river. You know what I mean? That is a huge river. That's scary. Grandpa, I don't know if Grandpa lives with Grandma. Maybe. I don't know. This is an interesting case study.
Yeah, the whole bay right there. Yeah, that's a whole lot of ground to cover.
Cookies,
And
I
we
know.
did a
That's
lot of it.
incredible.
I did a lot of it myself. I did a lot with a couple of older guys. I did a lot of it myself.
The biggest issue I have is the only evidence that anyone has ever presented that he was ever in the water is the boots that aren't even his.
Exactly. So it's really, the cops are going to have a lot of pressure come Monday when it airs on Global News.
Right, because, I mean, he wasn't even in the brook. He wasn't even by the creek. And unfortunately, for 4 years, they played it off like he was, or, thought he was.
Right. And Tandy, I wanted to address your comment. You said, was he outside when he went missing? Yes, apparently he was out in the yard with his grandmother, and she turned her back to tie up a dog. And when she turned back around, Dylan was not there anymore.
That part is really interesting to me. I want to know why she tied the dog up. I want to know if the dog was barking at something or possibly someone that she did not see, that Grandma did not see. The dog is trying to tell Grandma, hey, there's somebody right there. You need to see that person. And Grandma is thinking the dog is just barking at something else and ties the dog up, and then the boy goes missing. That's really interesting to me.
So there are some, not confused. So we hired a private investigator. His name was Dave Worrell. He was 36. He was 36 years, major crimes, Halifax, Nova Scotia. He dealt with cold cases also. And in W5 News, once again, with Avery Haynes, the best investigating journalist in Canada, he states that he'd be a little worried about her timeline and story. It doesn't make sense. And he states that right on W5 News. So we do, even his mom, Dylan's mom, has some concerns on that timeline and the whole story. She's also part of a hate group, which terrorizes me. So, how can you lose, for me, how do you lose my baby and then terrorize me? I don't quite understand it. I'm going to say things online or investigate her, obviously, because I'm told by professionals her story doesn't make sense. So obviously, that anger's there, all that normal stuff.
I don't like this at all. I cannot, I'll never understand how, when you have a situation, especially as with something as important as a missing child, why there has to be sides, why people have to work against each other. Because if the family could just work together, you could accomplish so much more. And from the way he's describing it, it's not his fault that they're attacking him and things. It sounds like, he said $7,000 for an attorney in the news clip we just pulled up. He's talked about money he spent for a private investigator. I mean, this man, it seems, is doing everything he can to find his child. And then you got the grandma hating on you like, man. I'll never understand that. Like, I don't care. I mean, honestly, now let me just say, I've never had a missing child. I pray to God I never do. But like, even if like my daughter's father who literally physically abused me, like if our daughter was missing, I'm going to work with him hand in hand to find our child. I mean, my husband would be there. I would not be afraid. I would have family, but I'll never understand why we can't work together to try to get, find these children. I do too.
You know,
I feel really
but
bad.
to terrorize me, and like, for an example, just yesterday, she wanted pictures of my new car. It's like, why would you want that? And it's all over this hate group. It's called Private Inquiries and Investigations into Jason Ehler Facebook group.
Wow.
And it's probably the most disgusting group you've ever seen in your life. And to actually private investigate anybody, you need, if I had my phone, I'd read it right to you, right? Other than that, it's vigilante and bullying. You need to have a license. You need to have a reason to look into that person. You just can't have private groups investigating and making shit up, right? And then they actually go as far as calling CPS on supporters.
Oh my
If, let's
God.
say, for an example, I get a girlfriend and they find out about it, they'll actually search into her to find dirt out on her to push her away. So they'll do everything in their power to push her away. They'll attack her job, or they'll slander her to the point where, you know what I mean? Just anything to push them away, right? It's
Yo, and people do that on these YouTube streets as well. I've seen it going on a lot lately. And I mean, people need to just stop in all of that. Why are you going to go into somebody's real life or try to ruin their real life for something that, I mean, especially in the case of a missing child? Like, why are you trying to ruin somebody's life? Put some shoes on, grab a jacket, and go out and search instead of sitting here talking crap and going into people's real lives on the internet. Like, I cannot stand it
all the time. But
Goodness.
it's like Facebook is allowing this group to continue. It's been 2 years. We're the second people in Canada, Nova Scotia. I think it's all of Canada now, but the cyberbullying legislation of Nova Scotia, reenacted by Rtea Parsons, died by suicide. So we use this legislation with a lawyer for a civil action lawsuit to stop the groups. And we won. We weren't in it for money. They were ordered to shut down the groups and obviously not talk about Dylan or say our names on social media anymore. But then what they did was turn around and they made fake accounts. Well, now you can't do shit about it. So then they made this new group, and it's just been lingering and destroying my life for a long time.
My God.
Jason, I have a question. Now, I know that in researching there were some TikToks that Ashley had made that made her look pretty suspicious. Would you like to talk about those at all?
Sure. So I didn't know about the TikToks until a few days after his disappearance. Turns out it was a really big trend, and there were thousands of other people doing the exact same ones with their kids in the video. One was a parody from the Tiger King, and the other one was a parody from Frozen. The cops fully investigated it, and they were, as he said on there, they were bizarre TikToks, but they were fully investigated, just posted at a bad time. And the cyberbullying really kicked off then. Then, I remember getting up that morning, she turned on her phone. She had a phone call from somebody saying, you need to delete TikTok. And as soon as she got off the phone started dinging, and you couldn't even do nothing with the phone. It was like a million dings, and it was all off TikTok, and it just blew up.
I can imagine.
And then before you know it, the whole town was, turning against us. And
so Emma, thank you for being here, or Emma said, I wonder if the ex of his is also receiving the same treatment. I was going to say no. It sounded like the grandma was behind the hate group, but now he's saying that she did a trending thing on TikTok like a lot of people do and was receiving hate left and right and had to basically, was told to delete her TikTok account. So it sounds like it. You see it firsthand. Even, again, with Sebastian Rogers, you see these groups. Some people hate one parent, some people hate two, and they're just attacked nonstop. I don't know. It's just, and it's like different with Jennifer Soto, because it's like, come on, man. I know you have some culpability in that, and that case is closed anyway. We know what happened. I don't know why people are the way they are. Stoic Dissension, thank you for being here, said, this childish, selfish tribalism and division today is everywhere, it seems, especially in these crucial situations where we need to work together for the sake of the lost innocent child. And it is insanity. Exactly. 100%. I completely agree. Yeah, I don't. It's crazy. The entire body is just insane. I can't. Hey, Bazard, thank you for coming up today. It's good to see
Oh, no
you.
problem. Same here. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, good. Just relaxing before work tonight. So, yay.
Oh, okay. Well, I hope you have a good day at work.
Appreciate that. I hope everyone else is doing well in the chat. Yeah, I was just gonna just quickly panel up and just give my take on this situation. So I know I messaged in the chat that this kind of reminds me of Missing 401, and I don't know if you ever heard of Missing 401 or know anything about it.
I've looked into it a little bit. I don't know much.
Okay, so I'll just be quick and give like a rundown. Oh yeah, it's basically from ex-cop named David Pilates or Pilates. He's been investigating strange disappearances of adult men, women, and specifically children all over the country and in this case in Canada. And this story kind of reminds me of a lot of his cases that involve children that have disappeared under strange circumstances. And a lot of his cases, stories of cases, I say story. A lot of his cases, it'll come down to the children either with someone, relative, family, friend. They're not far away from the child, and once the person or individuals turn away for some other reason, the child is just completely gone.
Yep.
And then, of course, they always have situations where usually they disappear near somewhere not far from like a creek or a river, or body, but there are never really any signs of the child either being found there or any evidence of like if the child drowned. So I thought that was interesting how they were showing that map, and I mean that would be a distance for a child his age to even make it that far to the. So was it a lake or a river?
So it seems to be a river, but there's a creek right behind the house. So I'm thinking like if he fell in the creek and was carried out, I don't know which. I mean, but it would assume unless I would think that the river flows into the creek, so he would have went the opposite direction anyway. So
Right.
yeah.
And I've always been, whenever I hear these cases or stories, I go down to it could either be someone did kidnap them. Now it could be a stranger or family, and it sounds like between the father and the ex, it's definitely a possibility there.
Right.
Unfortunately, it could have been an animal sort of situation, or like I said, with the missing 401, for whatever reason, people just disappear, especially children disappear in strange circumstances. And a lot of times they either don't find the child, or if they do, it's usually children around his age. So somewhere of that effect where if they do find them, they can't really describe what happened to them. There's a real good case that happened here. I think it was in South Carolina or North Carolina. I'll have to find it. Kid disappeared. They eventually found him. He was gone for several days in some thick bush, and he described that he was being taken care of by, he said, a dog or a bear, what he was describing, that took care of him for a few days, and then he was found eventually by authorities. So there's always these weird situations that come up with these stories, but that was just something I wanted to bring up right quick.
Yeah, there's also another one that's always really perplexed me, and I think it was in Missouri or Michigan, but a 2-year-old boy went missing in like a snowstorm, and it was like mountains and thick bush around him, and I'm talking about like a foot or two of snow, and they find him like 3 or 4 days later, like 6 miles away, And he said the same thing, like he was being taken care of by this person, like that resembled Bigfoot basically in the woods.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's like, you know, he's in the number one, he's disappeared in a snowstorm. How did he not get frostbite? And
Mhm.
like 6 miles away, there's no way he walked that far in a snowstorm. You know, it's insane. Yeah, some of them cases are like mind blowing.
It does make you wonder, and that's why I was just mentioning to people. You can always look up the cases that he's done. A lot of them, like I said, it'll come down to either there could be a natural reason why they disappear, but then there's just cases like we were just mentioning, or the one I mentioned. I like I said, I want to say it was in South Carolina or maybe North Carolina, but
Yeah.
sort of the same situation. He was
Yeah.
found deep, somewhere deep in the wild, and it was almost like, how could a little child survive like that for at least, let alone 4 days? So,
Right. It's crazy.
so
Take a
I'm,
minute.
but yeah, I hope eventually they find whatever happened to this young kid. It's sad that his father has to go through all this bull crap dealing with the ex and her weird supporters.
Yeah. Yeah, I hope that he's found too. I hope that maybe we can provide some help or see what we can pull on the information that he gives out. Yeah, the 411 cases are super bizarre, Kelly. They are. And yeah, I never really thought about an animal until me and Hio were talking, and she talked about like a girl that went missing in the desert, and there's a possibility of an animal, you know, her walking off and then an animal attacking or something. This one in particular sounds like somebody took him, or the grandmother's starting to sound a little bit suspicious. Like I'm wondering if something happened beforehand and then that story was told later.
Right.
And then if the police are not doing their job and not, you know, correctly investigating the situation, it could be more. I don't know.
I don't want to diss any Canadian fans that are probably watching, but I have heard and seen cases with Canada where they are pretty terrible. I mean, I can say the same here in the States, but it's like they're pretty terrible, it seems, with certain cases in Canada of missing children or missing adults.
Yeah.
The shoddy investigations, you know, and so, and now is the grandmother his mom, or I'm assuming the ex's mother?
I'm assuming the ex's mother.
Okay, because then it would have been, it would have been weird if it was his mom. But yeah, now when you mention that, it's that's why I was like, it could be either an animal situation or someone close or a stranger danger sort of situation. It's just anything, unfortunately, could have happened to the little guy.
Yeah, I hope that we can help and see what we can figure out. Dutchess said, I remember a 6-year-old was found in Blount County, Tennessee with his dog by his side. I do remember that. And she said she lives in the Carolinas. So many missing people.
Yeah.
And it makes me happy to hear that the dog was found by his side. I feel like he got protection from the dog. I get really happy about stuff like that. Thank God.
I love that. Yeah, I love that. Just recently saw, on a side note, in the California fires, a man, I can't remember what area, Pasadena, maybe. I'm probably butchering it, but a man's dog was found. It was with some news crew. Was with him, and he left. Well, I don't know if he either left the property or he just wasn't there, but he finally was able to go back to his property, and the dog was alive.
Thank God.
Yeah, it's a very emotional video. You know, so it's like, I just hope that everyone's okay and the animals are okay over there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
But I'm gonna head off, but I just want to just jump on a quick sec and give my 2 piece. But enjoy. Hope the rest of the stream goes well and you enjoy yourself and everyone else enjoy yourselves, okay?
Yeah, thank you so much for coming up, Bazard, and I hope you have a good day at work, love.
Appreciate that. All right, take care.
You too, love. Bye.
Bye.
It got crazy, but then it mutated. The cyberbullying mutated into something completely different. We're actually doing a documentary movie with Muse Entertainment, with two of the biggest movie producers in Canada.
I saw Mind of Monsters in there. I think Mind of Monsters was just here yesterday. right here. Michelle Macklin says Dylan Eller. I know I'm saying that last name wrong, and I apologize about that. 3 years old, missing since May 6, 2020, from St. Truro, Nova Scotia, Canada. Any info, contact 902-895-4351 or 902-893-6820. I wanted to make sure that was on here.
The cyberbullying mutated into something completely different. We're actually doing a documentary movie with Muse Entertainment, with two of the biggest movie producers in Canada. And
oh wow,
yeah, that's how crazy this story is. It's quite a different story.
I'm so sorry that you're going through this type of harassment. We've
Still
actually
today.
seen it in other cases just like this, and without any evidence that the parents are guilty, they will.
But to go as far as hacking accounts, calling CPS, and it actually being the same people for almost 4 years straight, that's real different. Like, I mean, stalking too. Like, still today.
They'll do that. They're doing it now. They will. It's insane. Like, what do you get? What kind of person do you have to be to get gratification out of the pain and out of the fact that you're tormenting somebody else? Like, what does that say about you as a person? I'm just saying.
Today, after 4 years, they try to find me. They watched me. I remember my brother, people were taking pictures through his window, taking pictures of his kids. One morning he woke up, had major crimes at his door because somebody said that his kid was Dylan. And it got so bad that someone actually took a picture of his newborn baby through a window, sent it to him in the morning and said, your kid's going to be next.
Oh my
God.
God.
Then they went from there to hacking friends and family's Facebooks, use it against us. Then from there, it was I'd do searches for Dylan. So I'd post events, and people would say they'd go and they'd be in Truro. I'd drive from Moncton, New Brunswick to Truro, do these searches. I would actually show up at some of these places where they needed to drive, and the cops would actually be waiting there wondering why I'm harassing this girl or this guy.
Oh my God.
To the point
the highway of tears situation is bad. That is a whole nother horrible situation. Dutchess says, I'll never understand why people who harass families. Yeah, I'm like, why? What do you get? What brings you gratification from doing something like that? Like, why? I mean, and again, I'll say, I mean, if you're going to put that much power, energy, and forethought into doing these things, how about putting that much power, energy, and forethought into doing something productive like searching? I'm just saying. I'll get off my soapbox.
point where I'd show the officer my messages and I'd have the cops in tears. This is, I'm talking some major crazy stuff like defamation, slander, fucking stalking, like the movie producers said, it went from cyberbullying and then it mutated into something they've never even seen before. It's actually quite horrific. And just
if the opportunity came, did he like the water? Could he reach the water in time?
So
good question.
He liked water. Most kids do. He would definitely run away from you if he had the chance. He was a very outgoing, full of mischief, always wanted to explore kind of a child. Sure. Like he was, Dylan basically.
Okay, Eek, have a good day, love. I hope that you have a good nap with your son.
Went from dragging himself on the floor to walking. Like it's like he skipped the crawling.
Oh.
He could balance and stand on chairs and let go of the like the legs of the chair. He would actually put one on the ground and he'd stand on the legs and he'd let go and stand up on it. Like his balance was incredible that was 2 weeks before his birthday. So he wasn't even 3 yet. So he was a little daredevil. Very happy, all smiles, 100% boy. Loved the dirt, loved to play. I remember, he'd trip and fall and you could tell it would hurt, but he'd get up and he'd shake it off and keep going, right? He was he's an amazing child.
So what are some things that Dylan enjoyed doing? Did he have, what was his favorite game, his favorite toy? Did he have a favorite color? What can you tell us about Dylan?
He really liked the book that we would read. It was a pop-up book with different farm animals, and he was obsessed with the chicken part. So every time I'd open the little card up or the little pop-up, he'd do his cock-a-doodle-doo and he'd just be all excited, right? He liked
Aw.
Baby Shark. He liked his favorite movie was The Good Dinosaur. He was very into dinosaurs.
Most
All around
boys
boy. He
are.
loved
My
doing
boys
outdoor
love that.
activities, swimming and all that stuff.
He looks like he's such a sweet kid, and I know
Mm.
you must miss him very much. So are you and the mom still working together to try to get answers for Dylan's case? Or
Unfortunately, no.
I hate to hear that. I hate with there's so much, feelings and animosity that we can't work together to try to bring these kids home. I paused it to say that my son really actually all of my sons really like that movie, The Good Dinosaur, and they also like the dragon movies with the black dragon, I don't know I can't think of what it's called, but the other one, How to Train Your Dragon, or I think that's what it is. They love those movies too.
Me and Ashley finally broke up
okay.
with having a missing child. It lasted another maybe year and a half, and it broke our whole family apart. I got into this
So sad.
weird, I don't know what it was, but I got into this phase. If you didn't search for my son boots on the ground, get the fuck out of my life. So then I started pushing away family, friends. I pushed away my entire life, and I got obsessed with searching and fighting. I don't think I've taken a day off. I'm always on social media fighting and fighting.
I think any of us would be, right? Like, he just wants his son.
I'll bring up the producers again.
I did too, Shabugi.
Apparently my fight is very inspiring. They've never really seen anyone fight as hard as I fought. Like, I really got obsessed with fighting and fighting and fighting. And that's, getting them on like Wired Magazine or McLean's Magazine or Nancy Grace, W5 News, the movie. Then it went from I'm going to make a YouTube channel right up to I got almost 3,000 subscribers now.
Well, in my experience,
I just got obsessed with spreading awareness. It was just, it assumed my whole life. 4 years.
Absolutely. And in my experience, Jason, the parents of a child that go missing make the best advocates
Absolutely.
out there. And hopefully your story will not only help bring
I'm really hoping that I'm showing people strength, to not give up, because everybody has a breaking point also, right? His mom, she went really quiet after the first year. You don't even hear a peep from her. And me, I've just every day, right? So I do believe everybody has their breaking point. And I really hope I'm showing that never to give up, keep going. With me, it might drive you crazy, but I keep going anyway.
Right.
That's all that you can do.
He's
Zena,
my
thank
only
you.
child, so if I'm not fighting for him, I don't feel like I have a purpose. Maybe it was the promise I made to him. I told Dylan the day he went missing that I wouldn't work, I wouldn't do anything but 100% don't. And I actually did that to the point where I ended up homeless because I wasn't working. I kept searching and searching and fighting to the point and get back on my feet a little bit. Now it's not living, not a little bit. I feel the same as I did May 6th. It's overwhelming. Or maybe I'm just different than everybody else. I don't know.
It never gets easier. I mean, you have that empty seat, especially during the holidays, because you have that empty seat at your dinner table every Thanksgiving, every Christmas, and you just yearn for some real closure. You need to know what happened to your little boy, and I get it 100%. I absolutely do, and my heart goes out to you so bad, because I've talked to families time and time again, many of which are in the chat. Barbara,
again, Dutchess True Crime, her link is pinned at the top of the chat box there, and I'm dropping Artic True Crime's link right now. I'll also drop my link if anybody wants to come up.
Oh, she lost her son Timmy.
Yeah, she's right. She's in chat. Barbara, thank you so much for being here. We have a couple of parents in the chat that have lost their children. Christina's here also, and her child is missing. So,
but not knowing is like, it's the worst thing in life. It's just, it eats you up.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Listen, the mission, your life has become about this. Here's Christina here. No, it doesn't get any easier. And her son hasn't been found either. There's people out here that do understand you and know exactly what you're going through. And we're just here to try to lift you up and give you the support that you need, because this can't be easy. And I'm so very sorry that you are being ostracized, harassed, threatened. And these groups that you're talking about, this is on Facebook, so And we've seen this, Artic, in other cases where these groups, people on there's YouTube creators, there's people on TikTok, they go after these families and they latch on, and it's pure exploitation. It's all about the clicks and the views and amping it up.
Yeah, it is. I know with this group, it's not even about that. I remember getting messages. They want to destroy my life to the point where I commit suicide.
Oh my God.
Got many messages like that. It's like they latched on, but they interfere with my whole life. Like, you know what I mean? Like my ex-girlfriend, they started giving her dad's business bad reviews. That affects.
Yeah.
I
mean, we've talked about
calling CPS. Like it gets to the point where it's like, oh my God, like when does, I could go get a job today and I bet you I wouldn't have it for no more than a minute. They would just keep on calling to the point where it becomes a hassle for me to have that employment because what follows me, if that makes sense.
That is insane. I wish people would, good Lord, touch grass.
It does. And we've talked about the harassment that these families go through in these cases. And it's only a matter of time before, unfortunately, a family member is going to end up unaliving themselves, I'm afraid, because of the stress that they're put under. And at that point, hopefully it doesn't take that, but hopefully at some point, some laws will be put into place to stop the harassment that these families are going through time after time after time, because they're like a dog with a fucking bone and they just can't let go of it.
It's true. And then you try to go to your cops or, your resources like RCMP, and we don't deal with Facebook. Oh, we don't deal with Facebook. Oh, that's a fake account. Well, so just let them continue every day. And I'm talking every day, and then you got to think 18% of all cyberbullying victims commit suicide. So I made a video about it with 18 people in it explaining, about cyberbullying. And it was kind of about what I've been doing. It was inspiring, but when is someone going to take notice and actually help with the cyberbullying or shut it down before one of them family members commits suicide? Is that what it's going to take for them to actually start changing things? Because
I don't know why my computer's. Oh no! Hold on.
Are you?
Oh my gosh!
Me?
Yes, I am, and I don't mean to, because my computer's slow and it says it was you weren't on the stage. Hey,
my punishment for being gone so long.
Oh no! Stop it. I'm glad to see you. I'm glad you're doing good.
It's getting better. It's finally getting better.
I'm glad.
Yeah. This case, oh my God. This dad, my heart's broken for him. I cannot imagine.
Yeah,
being
I
attacked.
couldn't either.
You weren't even there when your child went missing and you're attacked.
Right. Dutchess says, we are working to advocate for laws and awareness about this behavior in missing cases along with others. If I can help, please let me know. This is insane.
Dutchess is amazing too.
Yes, she is.
Oh.
Yeah.
I know in my case, it's literally driving me crazy. After 4 years, it just comes to a point where it's like.
If you want to say something, honey, just tell me to pause it and I will. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off if I did.
Even if I go off social media, they're still there tainting my name like crazy. Like, and it could be, I killed my son. I'm a drug dealer. I'm a drug addict. I'm an alcoholic. I beat up women. I do this. I do that. You should just see the rumors in that group. 1,000 people.
Look, I want to say something, and I don't mean to sound harsh or any type of way about this, okay? But like, what if he was an alcoholic? What if, unfortunately, he was addicted to substances? Not putting this on that man, but what does that have to do with his son being missing? Especially when he wasn't there. Like, why? Look for the child. Why are you worried about all these other people and destroying their lives? It's for advocacy. It's to get the child's picture out here and their information, what they do. I mean, none of that matters. Why? I'll never get it. I'll never get it.
Exactly. That's what I don't get. Is they're really, they're harming this man. It's enough that he's going through missing his child, the mental wear that has, but then you've got all, people attacking him when he is not responsible.
Right. He wasn't even there. Like, dang, I just can't.
And they just, they
Jason,
get
I'm
into other
curious.
people's lives too, right? And it pushes them away. So then before you know it, I'm going to have nobody.
Right.
You know, and then it makes me fight harder. And, you know, I'm pretty proud of myself. I got 1 million views in 28 days on Facebook last month. That shows how hard I'm working to spread awareness and keep it going, right? So they can't take that away from me. So,
Well, so far as I can tell, quite honestly, to be perfectly frank, you're the only one fighting for Dylan. I haven't seen Ashley out there. I haven't seen anyone other than you fighting for your son.
Yeah.
it hurts. I mean, I can get into it. It frustrates the hell out of me. I feel like, oh, it's such mixed feelings. Like, why? It's same as what you guys are going through. It's why? You know, and that actually drives me crazy too. I know that me and Ashley had our differences. We got into our fights. We actually have a no contact order because of me. So I got mad and, you know, threatened her. Didn't just empty threats, but we broke up. 2 weeks later, she found a new boyfriend. She was supposed to be on a search on Father's Day, and she wasn't. Said she was busy. And then I found out that same night she was hanging with this other guy. So I got mad. You know, this strange guy in my son's house. He's missing on top of a missing child. It hurt, and I had no right to threaten or bother her, but I broke. I lost my mind, right? 13 years
Well,
together.
and,
It's
and,
okay.
and you know, parents are going to handle their missing loved one differently. No
Yeah.
one ever, there's no handbook out there for how a parent's going to react when their child goes missing. Like we have a
No.
case close to me, the Morgan Nick case. She's missing out of Arkansas. She went missing in 1995. And
Wow.
her mother even started a foundation in her daughter's name and everything. You never heard the father talking. He was villainized for years because he never spoke out on it or anything like that. But sometimes there's that stronger parent. Sometimes,
Yes.
just like with the Adam Walsh case, I'm sure you're familiar with that. John Walsh is the one that always did all the speaking. His wife never talked on Adam because she was just so devastated as to, you know.
And people don't seem to, a lot of people don't tend to realize that. They're always like, well, if it was my child, I would do this, this, and this. But then I'm thinking to myself, well, if it was your child, well, you have to go through it to know what it's like. So, I mean, you can sit there and have an opinion, oh, you would do this, this, and this, but you have no idea.
You don't know how you would react in a situation like that. Nobody does unless, God forbid, they're thrown into that situation. God, heaven forbid. But you don't know how you'd act. You can't say anything about how you would act. You don't know.
No.
What you would do.
And it's not going to.
I mean, there's many scenarios that, I mean, we're talking a missing child. In my case, a missing 3-year-old. So you can't even stand there and even wonder what you would do because you'd have to go through it.
That's exactly
Every
right.
every reaction is going to be different.
And you don't know what every person's going to react differently. If my son, who's grown, but if my child was young and he went missing, I can't really say exactly how I would react. I would probably be off the rails. I can't really say exactly what my reaction would be. So I try to give people grace because we don't really know what that stress is going to be like. Some people are going to be angry. Some people are just going to want to shut down, and maybe they're not equipped to go out there and fight like everybody expects them to do and go out and do things, because everybody is built differently and they handle stress differently. But it does seem like
you're in limbo. So, you know, as you're in limbo, you got to learn to fight at the same time. Like it's a lot to, you know, some people, they give it all they have, and some people just go dormant. They don't even want to live no more. Their child's missing. It's a horrible feeling.
Right. Exactly. The other thing I wanted to ask you really quick, Jason, is last night I was going over TikTok and I happened to see your TikTok page, and I think my moderators have dropped your TikTok because I want people to follow you so they can, you know, stay updated with what you have going on with Dylan's case. But, you know, I want to make sure that people know that when I was perusing TikTok last night, I saw that you posted a video that had
and Trixie dropped in the chat earlier the TikTok link. I'll see if I can grab it and share it again to his TikTok, and she shared his YouTube. I'm going to try to grab those and share them again.
To do with filing a civil lawsuit. Can you talk to me about this TikTok and what that's about?
Am I allowed to have a 5-second break and I'll come right back and explain it?
Absolutely.
Like I won't leave the video. I just got to leave. Just give me 1 second. Okay?
Yeah, just turn your camera off, and I'm gonna go over here to the chat. Thank you, chat, so much for allowing Jason a space to be able to unload the things that he has been going through since the disappearance of his son Dylan. And I just think it's really important to allow him to share his thoughts and feelings about what he's
Emma
been going.
says, I'm very suspicious of the ex and the grandmother. How does a parent of a missing child just start to date? I don't know about the starting to date thing. I mean, I think it was a while afterwards. Things happen. I don't like the fact that she broke up with him and after 13 years or 2 weeks later was with somebody else. But, at the end of the day, that's not my business. The grandmother, though, he went missing from her house and then you're starting all these hate campaigns, if I understand correctly. That's weird to me. I don't want to fault the ex too much. I think they were together. I think she's devastated in this situation as well. I don't want to attack the grandma either, but I do have some questions about the grandmother because she's starting these hate campaigns and all that. And he went missing from her house and it's a dead end road and all of that. But, again, I don't want to attack her either at the same time. I understand and respect your opinion. And thank you for sharing, Emma. Trixie dropped the YouTube channel. And I know earlier she had dropped the TikTok as well. Thank you, Trixie.
Going through, because this has got to be so very difficult. And I just want to thank you guys so much for being here for us to have this very real conversation. And I appreciate you all being respectful. We can agree to disagree. We can all have our own thoughts, but I just ask that you please give him some grace and be respectful in this platform because families are going through really tough emotional times when their kids are missing. And this is not the time to be attacking them. But I see that everyone is being very supportive. Jason, you have so much support in this chat right now. And we never want to try to judge what the parents, I can't possibly understand what Ashley might be thinking or going through. As a mom myself of a son, I really don't know if she ever would want to come and speak with us about that. I would be happy to offer my platform to let her speak about that if she would ever do that. But I do appreciate you guys being here and sharing so many wonderful thoughts and prayers and positive feedback that you're supporting Jason in this mission to help and want him to find his son. And
I need to smoke to talk about this one.
It's okay. It's okay. I totally understand.
And I'm in my car because the cyberbullying and stuff so ridiculous that I don't even want these people to see where I'm at. So it's disgusting. And 4 years of it, right? It really gets to you.
You have to do what you feel is best for you. And we are never going to question that, Jason. We just appreciate you so much coming here to talk to us about this.
Definitely.
So Dylan would now be
7
8 years old. Seven.
Yep.
Okay. And when is his birthday?
April 16th, 2017.
He is such a sweet, sweet kid.
He was born Easter morning at around 8 a.m., something like that.
Gosh.
He's an Easter baby.
How
he
sweet.
has the most precious face, y'all. He has look at that face.
I know.
Do you think that there's anybody that the police? I've read different reports. I've seen some articles that say that the police believe that he drowned, and some people believe
we look at all of that, but none of it is irrelevant no more. The boots aren't his. So everything you're seeing on the news back then, that's all with the boots that were supposedly his. But as of, I think 6 months ago, with the evidence that the police have, 100% evidence, because I'm going on global news, this is 100% now, the boots aren't his.
Mm-hmm.
So everything from the past is nothing no more. So there's no possible drowning because, well, the boots aren't his. So there were no footprints that day. Nothing was ever found in Dylan. But what really makes it odd is...
Okay, no footprints. Boots are not his. So I'm leaning... Sorry, I was eating candy. I'm leaning more towards an abduction.
Is why were those boots in the brook to begin with? And they look so close to the ones that he actually owned. So, did a family member plant the boots? Did a friend plant the boots? Did a stranger plant the boots? How did those boots even get there to begin with? And where are Dylan's actual boots? Where is that?
Right. Where is he? Where are the actual boots? And in this case, I would say, let's not blame a family member, or in most cases, but like with this one, with the cyberbullying going on and the grandmother being behind it, if I'm understanding correctly, I mean, you have to question, right?
Well, yeah. And being that these boots are so close to the ones that he had, I want to say, forget about being stranger. Because how would a stranger know to plant those kind of boots there? I'm saying
Right.
it has to be more familial.
Yeah. Somebody that knew he had boots like that. Exactly. Yeah.
Dylan, there's just nothing.
Now, I did see a couple of comments that I wanted to ask you. Some people were saying if he went out and actually ended up from, that brook into the Salmon River, that he would have ended up in the bay. And then I saw some people in the chat tonight say,
I would think, because it looked like the creek came off of the bay, so I would think that it flows in the opposite direction, but I could be wrong about that. I would need to know which way the river flows, and maybe he's going to tell us.
that that's not possible, that he would have ended up in the bay.
Any of it's possible. Any of it's possible. So what people don't realize is with the child, so I never realized it either, but it's true. Bigger objects push smaller objects away. So whatever the boots got caught in, it's not going to be the same as a heavier person floating down the river or the brook, per se.
And I would also be suspicious because of the fact that it would be very hard for water to push boots off of a child. Boots are hard to take off for anyone that's worn them.
Exactly. See, and the whole thing is now the brook is irrelevant now because there's no evidence of Dylan being in the brook.
Exactly.
The boots aren't his. So the focus needs to be is how are these? What do you call these boots now? These unknown boots. Why were they there the same day he went missing?
That is very strange.
So then you got to look, like even my lawyer, Allison Harris from Carter Simpson Law, she always had an issue with the boots, and she probably found out by now that they're not even his boots, and she's probably like, holy shit, right? Because she worked with us for years.
Yeah.
And it's so there's so many crazy turns in Dylan's story. So there was a guy that decided he was going to help on the day my son disappeared, and it was before search and rescue had even started searching. He brought his dog. It was a hunting dog, and he wanted Dylan's blanket for scent. So all in shock, I do believe Ashley or her father drove down and grabbed a blanket of Dylan's with a scent, brought it back, gave it to the guy. And in one of the news clips on CTV News, you'll notice that same guy with the dog, I think it was a Doberman Pinscher, searching. He had a bag in his hand. And it appears to be those boots that were originally found of Dylan's by police in his bag. So there are rumors of that going around. I did see the news clip, and it does look like it, but to actually say 100%, it's almost hard to say 100%. So you only have that in the back of your head. But what if he had tossed him in the water? Or, I even thought like,
I'm gonna pull that up and see if we can pull it up and watch it. While we're listening to this. Hey, Stephanie's JK, thank you for being here. Toxic Orchid said if those boots were on him while in the water, the boots would be easily torn off depending on the current. Right. If he was standing in the muck and they were like in the muck, then yeah, it could have pulled him out of it, especially if they were a little large on him or anything. Like, yeah, the current could have pulled him out of the boots. But they weren't his. So, I go back to like what he's saying. I'm going to see if I can pull this news clip from when they were searching. I'm sure there's probably quite a few. I'm going to try to see if I can narrow it down real quick while we listen.
he was on the search. He contaminated the whole scene because he actually carried that blanket all through the woods with the dog. So it was a complete mess. I think he got fined $1,000 for doing it. But I still have issues with the cops and the times they found the boots, because nobody found the boots, and then all of a sudden 7:30 at night and 7 p.m. to 7:30 at night, all of a sudden the boots were found. Well, how the fuck did you guys even see them? You couldn't see them through the day, but then you can see them at night. So, or I always thought maybe the guy with the dog found the boots and the cops got pissed off and just said, hey, we found the boots. Because if we go back to the police complaint commissioner and my lawyer's notes that I have that I'm saving for my book that I'm writing, I'm not even going to share that stuff. It's right from a recording, so I'm sneaky, and I recorded my lawyer's whole conversation. I call it my $6,000 recording, and it's all negligence from the Truro police from the day that of the day of his disappearance and the first 6 days of his search. So all the negligence and protocol, they broke 8 protocol.
And they didn't use trained search canines?
So they had a police dog there, but it was 2 hours late. So I've talked to cops with that cops that have canine, and they said those dogs are great within the first 30 minutes of a person's disappearance.
So I'm continuing to look. I'm finding a bunch of like information about the cyberbullying and like 1 year, 2 year, 3 year updates. I'm not finding anything of like the actual searchers that day. I'm going to type in the date, but I'm still trying to find it because I would really like to see that video.
Appearance, they're going to chase down the skin cells, the millions of skin cells that fall on the ground are particles. You know, and after 30 minutes, you know, we're getting to 40 minutes, 50 minutes, the dog's probably not going to find anything. You know, and the cops tried to argue they're the same as search and rescue dogs, and you can't train 2 dogs for 2 different things and all this. But then we met Nova Scotia Canine Search and Rescue, and they had human remains dogs and search and rescue dogs.
Yeah, like scent dogs.
And Dylan's story gets crazier because I went on a search with Nova Scotia Canine Search and Rescue with their dogs. The cops didn't know I went on it, and they all didn't know I recorded the whole day, video recorded it. And so we're on the search. I'm videoing parts of the search here and there. And then all of a sudden the dog gets a hit in the water in Salmon River. And I can share the video with you. I think the world should really see the video and wonder why the cops neglected to search it. So Nova Scotia Canine Search and Rescue had, her name was Gem. It was a human remains dog, cadaver dog. And that dog got a hit in the water, and that dog was obsessed with something in the water for at least 3 to 5 minutes. I recorded the whole thing, like obsessed with it. The dog went back 2 or 3 different times, did all the right
We're going to have to pull that.
signals. The dog handler called in the coordinates to the Truro police. And the Truro police didn't actually search that hit in the water
immediately
until, let's say, the next day.
Dutchess's link is pinned at the top of the chat box. I found something. I'm going to share what I found, but I would like to get his video of it. Hold on, I'm trying to get it to pull up. This is the only thing I found on it so far, but we'll watch this real quick. As soon as it loads the 5,000 ads, it's probably going to load. I think it's a 2-minute clip, so. Okay, hold on just a second. I'm sorry about that, y'all. Okay. Oh my gosh, technical difficulties. Okay, so you can hear me. Now we're waiting on this to load. Okay. Let me turn the volume on. Sorry about that. Oh my gosh, why is it so low?
Join the couple today to search for 3-year-old Dylan Ehler. Following his disappearance, an extensive search was launched, but only his boots were found. His parents believe their son may have been kidnapped. Here's CTV's Sarah Plowman with more on today's search in Truro.
Trudging through bushes, a brook, near the railroad tracks, and in the woods. A team of volunteers search for any sign of 3-year-old Dylan Ehler. The toddler disappeared May 6th.
So I would check mostly like the stream.
Using drone software that can detect what the eye cannot, Dylan's dad surveyed from the air.
We know Dylan was wearing a camouflage jacket, a red shirt. So after the drone flies, we will put it in the software to look for red or the green and hands of the camouflage.
But so far,
had a lot of hits. We've come out and we've looked at them. Unfortunately, it wasn't really anything to do with Dylan. There's a lot of Tim Hortons cups out there that flash red.
Dylan's grandmother's house is the starting point. It's where the toddler was last seen playing. That same day, his boots were found nearby. That area is also searched. A police-led search in May used infrared cameras, a drone, and helicopter. While Truro police didn't have an update for CTV Sunday, his parents say police did call them the day before.
They believe Dylan's disappearance was a freak accident.
Do you believe that?
I don't believe that whatsoever.
Why not?
Real quick, I apologize. I had to deal with the siblings arguing, Dutchess says Jason is filing a civil lawsuit against Dorothy, according to him. Since I've been following him on TikTok, I was shocked, which is why I messaged him to let him know I would be covering Dylan's case. Oh, wow. And then she says, I told him if he wanted me to share anything, let me know, or if he wanted to speak, he was welcome to. And of course, he immediately said yes, and he wanted to speak. Thank you for that information. I do have 7 children, but 4 of them live with me. So there's 4 children here, and I homeschool them. So yes, they are here. They are brother and sisters, and they argue all the time. So I apologize about that. Please keep in mind that when this video took place, they talked about in the beginning that the shoes were his, the boots, and they were not.
Because there's no evidence of anything other than boots, no footprints, no broken branches. There's just nothing but boots. Who's to say someone didn't throw them in?
Anything suspicious is tagged, so it can be investigated later. In the absence of their son, Dylan's parents are holding on to hope.
That's all we have, is to hope he's still alive and someone will bring him home.
Until then, Ehler will be here every day searching. Sarah Plowman, CTV News, Truro.
Dang, hold on. I was wondering if that was showing the... Oh my gosh. Does that show the area? So there's cars here, but I don't know if that's the end of the road, and that looks like the creek area where his shoes might have been found. That's interesting. That's a pretty wide creek if that is the creek. Okay. Michelle, you have no idea. I will be honest with you real quick. This morning, the neighbor gave them like the mixed nuts you get for Christmas that has like the hazelnuts and all the different nuts. And they wanted to eat the nuts. And so we don't have one of those little nutcracker things and like that you hold in your hand. So they got the hammer out and we're hammering the nuts with the hammer. There's always something going on in this house. Okay, back to the story. Hey, Heather.
Doing another, they called it a training exercise, but it was for Dylan. It was just a free way to search because it costs money for, a lot of people don't realize that it all costs money. Anyway, the next day we run into the lead investigator, Corporal Emery. And me and Ashley were being nosy. We just randomly showed up. We seen him. We asked, did you check the hit in the water? He's like, no, but I'm going there right now. And right away I said, it's tidal influenced. Why wouldn't you have checked it at 1:30 p.m. when the hit was made, right? So he's like, I'm going to go check it now. So we follow him because we're not stupid. We were already thinking they screwed up. So we followed them and they didn't know we followed. And the lead investigator actually walks out to the river, stands up on the dike, looks in the water for a few minutes, and then actually just drives off.
That's so sweet. I'm very patient. I try to be very patient. Thank you for the compliment. And I love my fur babies too. I've got Basil right now. He's my fur baby. And I'm sorry that you were a single mom in college back in the 90s. It's hard to do that, but I'm glad that you got through it and everything. And I'm glad your son has grown. That's really sweet. My husband helps me with them, but yeah, it is crazy. It's definitely crazy here. Hey, Beth, good to see you. That's really sweet. I know you love your fur babies too, all of you guys. I like your fur babies too. They're so cute.
I'm going through this and I'm trying to find news articles.
Right away, I'm thinking,
sorry,
well,
love, hold on. I'm sorry, love. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Sorry, my voice is still scratchy.
I'm
I just
sorry.
been going through this trying to find an article, and I found one for May 12th, 6 days after this poor boy went missing. And it says here, police or search ends for missing 3-year-old. Police do not suspect foul play. In 6 days?
Yeah, how could you rule it out?
Foul play? I don't get it.
I don't either. This case is perplexing. Dutchess said Jason did film a video yesterday, and Trixie has dropped the TikTok links and the YouTube links for him. And I'm still going to continue to try to find stuff from that day, but he says he has it. So maybe he's got it on his YouTube or his TikTok, and I'll work either at, at the end of the live today if I have time, or after the live, to try to pull that video footage for us to take a look at. Shaboogies, it's Trixie. Her voice is low and scratchy. If you guys can't hear her, I'll try to tell you what she says.
I'm sorry. Yeah, my voice has been a week now.
I'm sorry,
I
love.
don't know.
I hope you get better.
That's not a cop's job to start you hitting the water, for starters. So, I kept that in the back of my head. We went in for a meeting. They said they searched. Nothing was there, and they just kind of shut us out and tell us to shut up, basically. But then 2 years later, with all this in the back of my head that they neglected to hit in the water, 2 years later, we fight them in court.
What?
And I actually present that video in court.
My God.
With the panel members. And it shocked everybody. And the look on the deputy chief's face when I showed the recording, he was just like, oh my God. Then my lawyer said, oh, they're bringing up Tom to the stand. He's head of Colchester Search and Rescue. He was in charge of the day or the whole week search. And then my lawyer mentioned they're actually taking him to a back room to prep him now. Because I think I shocked everybody with the video. So the search and rescue.
Do you have that video? Or we?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Where can I find it? Would you like for me to show that video?
Yes. If you go into my TikTok videos and you scroll halfway down, you're going to see the dog in a river, and it's going to show 178,000 views, almost 200,000 views on it. And it really should be shown, and then we'll get into it. So in the board, so Tom,
So I think Dutchess is going to pull this up.
Search and Rescue, Tom Fitzpatrick or Tom Fitzgerald, he testifies, and he says that it was a dog named Rifle and a dog handler named Kathy, and the dog gave the wrong signs. And Tom even said he wasn't there that day. And I
saw Gemini dropped in, but now I don't see your message. So if you're here, hey love.
Didn't present every video I had or all the pictures. I just presented that one particular video, so I feel stupid. Didn't realize they would lie about it, and then I couldn't present more evidence against it. So they said it was Kathy and Rifle, and the dog gave the wrong signs, but it wasn't Kathy and Rifle. I have a video of Kathy and Rifle on the right side of the river, up ahead, because two dogs can't search side by side. That's not how it works. They distract each other. And I actually it was a male dog handler and a dog named Jem that got the hit in the water. So they actually went as far as lying about the whole day, saying the dog gave the wrong signs, different dog handler, different dog, and Tom wasn't there that day. But I actually have pictures of Tom being there that day. But then at the end of that day, Tom comes out and says, I lost all respect to the chief, first time hearing that story after his cross-examination. So I really got confused after the...
Sorry, Heather, the earrings were from his mom. Referencing Madeline Soto, not this case. The earrings were from his mom, but I don't know if he gave them to her pretending they were from him or not. More than likely he did, that sick son of a...
hearing. And then I get an email from another lawyer for a second opinion on possibly appealing their decision with the police complaint commissioner, because they said the Truro police did everything in their power and they did a good job and all this stuff, which is bullshit.
I was about to...
So I get a second opinion a few days before I had to appeal. And this lawyer says, is your lawyer aware of error of law? So now there's error of law at the police complaint commissioner. Example of error of law, they didn't bring in Dorothy Parsons as a witness, the one that lost him. They didn't bring in a professional for fingerprinting, and et cetera, et cetera. Those are error of law. Certain people.
So why are the police botching this case so bad? This is just insane. This man is being publicly tarred and feathered on a daily basis. And the police botched the whole entire case, it sounds like. What is going on? Y'all, I'm not about conspiracy theories, but this is sus. Like, my goodness.
People were not attending the hearing when they had...
Man and family. I mean, somebody needs to help. I don't know. What... Them police need to get up on it or something. I don't know.
To be there. So, and then I find out from the same guy, Tom, that the deputy chief lost respect of the chief and he's retiring. He said first time hearing that story also. So it sounds like, well, you could tell if everybody was there, you'd all hear the deputy or the actual chief He completely lied about his whereabouts, where he was that day and everything. He just completely lied. And his hand's on the fucking Bible. You know, and then they lie about the hit in the water and their hands are on the Bible. Like, I have the evidence. So me and the movie team, I can't even talk about the movie, so we want to get into that. But we have the recordings and we have proof that they lied about it. And hopefully one day it can be revealed and maybe they'll dig that spot up, because it could be Dylan. It could be the young man that's been missing in Truro for 30 years. It could be the murder victim that was possibly dumped in the Salmon River near the opening of North River. And that was around the same spot the dog got the hit. So, and then, you know, you start to overthink, you know, why don't the cops want to dig a spot in the river? Then you got to think, way back in the day, the town was run by the Hells Angels. You know, maybe the cops did something for them and they don't want something brought up. You know, I've overthought every possibility why they won't go look. And I won't go look because I don't want to fuck anything up.
Well, can I ask you a couple questions real quick? So,
Yeah.
Jason, since the
You find the video?
grandmother, I did. So since
Perfect.
the grandmother was the last person to see him, did the cops talk to her? Did she take a polygraph? What
She
can you
took
tell me as far as that goes?
She took a polygraph test. It was inconclusive.
Okay.
Me and her daughter, Dylan's mom, tried to press charges on her for neglect. The Crown prosecutor would not let that happen.
Oh my God. So she has failed a polygraph test. They're trying to press charges for neglect. This is crazy. I'm going to try to pull this video up for y'all. Luckily, she shared it, the link in the back chat. Okay, so he said it has like 120,000 views. So let's see this video. Said halfway down the page. This, by the way, is Mr. Jason's YouTube page. All right, let's look for it. Okay. There's 10,000 views on that one. I'm just trying to see if there's one with more views than that one. Sorry, y'all. Hold on just a minute. Hold on just a minute. I don't see anything with more views. Let's go back up to that one that had 10,000. It's on the side. I apologize, y'all. Hold on just a minute. This is 2 months ago, the information that changed everything. Let's see what it says. I'm going to speed it up. Why is there... I guess there's no sound to this one. All right, I'm going to go back to Dutchess, and I'm going to continue looking at this page for the, now that I have it, I'm going to continue looking for the update with the dog so we can see it real quick. Hold on just a minute. Sorry, I don't mean to keep going from place to place. I'm just trying to make sure we have all the information. Let me see what I can find real quick.
Happened. Okay. There was probably grounds for it, but the Crown came back with the
Sorry, I want to make sure it's pulled up. I didn't mean to play it before it was pulled up. My computer's slow. Trixie dropped the link for the TikTok again. Yeah, the father, it is absolutely heartbreaking, and the father was doing everything right. I just don't get how you don't look into something when your cadaver dogs are hitting on a certain spot. And aren't they trained not to be distracted by each other? Yeah, this is insane to hear that they're not hitting on the spot. Like, they're hitting on the spot and it hasn't been properly investigated. I took it back a little bit so we can hear all that information again while I try to pull up that video.
Playing commissioner. Example of error of law, they didn't bring in Dorothy Parsons as a witness, the one that lost him. They didn't bring in a professional for fingerprinting, and et cetera, et cetera. Those are error of law. Certain people were not attending the hearing and they had to be there. So, and then I find out from the same guy, Tom, that the deputy chief lost respect of the chief and he's retiring. He said first time hearing that story also. So it sounds like, well, you could tell if everybody was there, you'd all hear the deputy or the actual chief. He completely lied about his whereabouts, where he was that day and everything.
Oh my God.
He just completely lied, and his hand's on the fucking Bible. You know, and then they lie about the hit in the water and their hands are on the Bible. Like, I have the evidence. So me and the movie team, I can't even talk about the movie, so we want to get into that, but we have the recordings and we have proof that they lied about it, and hopefully one day it can be revealed and maybe they'll dig that spot up, because it could be Dylan. It could be the young man that's been missing in Truro for 30 years. It could be the murder victim that was possibly dumped in the Salmon River near the opening of North River, and that was around the same spot the dog got hit. So,
Okay.
and then, you know, you start to overthink, you know, why don't the cops want to dig a spot in the river? Then you got to think way back in the day, the town was run by the Hells Angels. You know, maybe the cops did something for them and they don't want something brought up. You know, I've overthought every possibility why they won't go look.
And again, I'm not trying to be like a conspiracy theorist, but it's absolutely possible, especially knowing if the town really was run by the Hells Angels. They didn't start running that town just, you know, without the help of the police. You know what I mean? So that's, I mean, it's a possibility. Hey, all things serious. Good to see you, love.
And I won't go look because I don't want to fuck anything up.
Right.
Well, can I ask you a couple questions real quick? So,
Yep.
Jason, since the
Did you find the video?
grandmother, I did. So since
Perfect.
the grandmother was the last person to see him, did the cops talk to her? Did she take a polygraph? What
She
can you
took
tell me as far as that goes?
She took a polygraph test. It was inconclusive.
Okay.
Me and her daughter, Dylan's mom, tried to press charges on her for neglect. The Crown prosecutor would not let that happen.
Okay.
There was probably grounds for it, but the Crown came back with what were the exact words? The grandmother has to live for the rest of her life with the fact that she lost her grandchild, and that's enough of a punishment for her. And I always said, well, what the fuck? What about Dylan? Like, who cares about how she feels right at the moment?
Exactly.
But
I can understand that, which that brings me to what I had asked you about with your TikTok that I saw last night that you made. Would you like me to play that one also?
Sure, if you want.
Okay, because that was one of the questions that I had. So I'm going to play the one that you put up last night,
and then
I'll
explain
play that
it
one first, and then you can tell us a little bit about that, and then I'm going to jump over and I'm going to play the other video, so we can take a look at that.
Perfect.
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to take a look at this first video.
Okay, so she does share it. Okay. Because I just got
so
it
here we
pulled
are
up.
on your TikTok, and this one
hold on.
you've got 52,000 views on this upload.
Wow, yeah, I noticed that at 40,000. It was kind of a shock. I didn't realize. Sometimes they just take right off.
So
thank you, Commander Alpha Turkey, for pointing that out. Commander Alpha Turkey, to be fair across the board, said this is the dad's version, experience so far and perspective. We can't forget that, right? To be fair to every story, like especially like let's say me and my husband got into an argument. There's my side, there's his side, and there's the truth. So we do need to remember that. Not trying to say anything bad about the dad or anything, but everybody has a different perspective on the things they see, what they think it means, and all of that. So just keep that in mind. Yeah, they said that's enough of a punishment that her grandchild is missing. So that's enough of a punishment not to charge her with neglect or put her through court or anything. But I mean, she's over here failing lie detector test. And she was the last one to see him. And if her story doesn't add up, I mean, I'm sorry. What the hell do you mean? I need my child. Like, somebody needs to do something. And again, bad girl reiterated, daddy is the only one fighting for his son with everything he has. I hope the mom's out there searching. Just because we don't see her doesn't mean we don't know she's, she could be searching. But he is out here fighting and being very public about it. And I do want to keep that in mind and commend him for that as well.
You guys, we're going to watch this quick video, and I want you to make sure that you listen to what Jason says on this TikTok, and then we're going to talk about that really quick, and then we'll watch another one of the videos. I do appreciate y'all being here, and I see that a lot of you have some questions and things, and we will try to get all of your questions answered. I do appreciate you guys being so very patient. Thank you so much for being here. All right, let's take a look at your video.
I just got off the phone with Tim Murphy Law.
Let's see.
They gave me a phone number of a different lawyer. They're going to call me back. I'm pursuing a civil action lawsuit against Dorothy Parsons for the neglect.
You're good, Robert.
Sound was good.
Well, I think I'm going to have to switch it. Hang on a second. I'm going to have to switch it. It's on the wrong thing. There we go. Okay.
Number of a different.
Let's see if I can get it back to. Let me go back and start it over now. Here we go.
Tim Murphy Law. They gave me a phone number of a different lawyer. They're going to call me back. I'm pursuing a civil action lawsuit against Dorothy Parsons for the neglect and loss of my child and the continuing cyberbullying, slander, and defamation on a hate group that she continues to be part of. I am done. This is happening. I just got off the phone with Tim Murphy Law. They gave me a phone number of a different lawyer. They're going to call me back. I'm pursuing a civil action lawsuit against Dorothy Parsons for the neglect and loss of my child and the continuing cyberbullying, slander, and defamation on a hate group that she continues to be part of.
You're good, Bill.
I am done. This is
okay. So talk to us. Talk to us about this.
Ever since my son went missing, Dorothy has had this vendetta on me. I remember putting out posters one day and she would give me the finger out her window. I remember when we first showed up on scene, she told my mom to get the fuck off her property. It's none of her concern. It's her missing grandchild. Of course it's her concern. Right. And then after me and Ashley broke up, she would blame my brother for Dylan's disappearance. She would act weird. Her story has changed so many times that it's even hard to believe the cops let it change so many times.
What?
There's actually, from the police complaint hearing, there's inconsistencies with her timeline. She has 2 or 3 different stories from 2 or 3 different notebooks with police officers. So ever since he went missing, she's just been obsessed with kind of destroying me. Now she's on a hate group that I was talking about with private inquiries and investigations into Jason Ehler.
What?
And she's like, it's almost like she's one of the ringleaders of it. The other day, what brought up that video per se is I got a new car. It was gifted to me by a friend. A really nice car. I inspired him. My fight inspired him. You know, I changed his life a little bit with my fight, all this stuff. He gave me a car. And then right away, she wanted to know what my car looked like and all of this stuff. So she made a post on the hate group and people started sending her pictures of my car. So it's like, why do you want pictures of my car? Like, are you going to hurt me or are you going to like destroy my car? Or like, should I be worried about that? Right. But it's not only that. It's like she tries to convince people that I made Dylan disappear. And it's almost like she's trying to push the blame on me. So the focus isn't on her, but I wasn't even there that day. You actually lost Dylan. So why are you treating me like this? Like, how can a grandmother lose my baby? Then after losing my baby and you fucked up my whole life, my parents' life, you know, everybody in his circle's life. And then you can turn around and cyberbully me and harass me and help taint my name. Right. How does one go about doing all that? You know, I understand I get mad and I may say things about her or investigate her. But she's the platform of the story.
Right.
Now that the boots aren't his, you identified them wrong. You're the one that bought them for his birthday and you identified them completely wrong. What am I supposed to do? Not investigate and get the public's help? Because since he went missing, I always felt in my gut that she's lying about something, and I have the right to think that because of everything that I've been shown. You know, but to go in a hate group all about destroying my name and go with it, how heartless are you? You know what I mean? Like, so I'm getting to the point where I'm going to file this action law.
I think so. So Mommy Ball says, so early on, Ashley thought her own mom was guilty of something. I think so. And I think she still questions it even after they broke up, because we just saw the news clip that I pulled up and him and Ashley were together and thinking something was sus. Yeah, Shaboogies says, oh no, this woman, I don't see how she's not involved. It doesn't make sense. And to be fair, she could be great. Okay, let's stop just a minute and put ourselves in her shoes. Like, maybe she feels guilty about losing him, and maybe she feels like he did do something involved with taking the child. I mean, I don't think it's an excuse for any type of cyberbullying or going to the extent that she does, but maybe this woman is hurt as well. But even at that, that's not an excuse to cyberbully. It's not a reason to cyberbully. Why would you take it to that extent? And then you add on the fact that she's failing lie detector tests and things like that, and her story's changing. I mean, that's pretty bad.
Lawsuit, if I can afford it, maybe I can get pro bono, or maybe even the movie team will help. I don't know. I'm at the point where she needs to be dealt with. She needs charges. She needs to be questioned. There's just something about that woman that drives me crazy. And I think almost the whole friggin' world could agree with me that something ain't right about her.
Well, someone asked in the chat, did she ever have any anger issues, or how was she with Dylan prior to this? Was she a good person? Was she a good grandmother?
No, I never liked her. I never liked her in my whole entire life. She was an alcoholic. She was an alcoholic because of the past, about what she did to her own children, which I'm not going to get into. I made a video and pissed everybody off already about that. But a very disgusting story, and very heartbreaking story. And she's a monster. And, her daughter, she was young at the time, forgave, it's her mom. So I don't know what that's like. So people forgive.
Well, and to be fair, a person can be an alcoholic, recover, and do better with their life, but that doesn't sound like what's happened here.
No, she turned her back on something in the past. So we'll leave it at that. But I have my own hate on her. I never cared for her. She's a horrible mom. She quit drinking. Ashley was trusting her. Dylan was going over there. Dylan was 95% of the time was going with his half sister. I'm not going to bring up her name because she doesn't need to be bothered by anybody, because she was 12 years old at the time of her brother's disappearance, and I'm just not bringing up her name. But she was always there with him. So this particular day, she was at her father's that day. So Dylan went to his grandmother's by himself. But I remember May 4th, 2020, I told the grandmother that due to COVID-19, I didn't want my son there. Didn't want him at your house because I didn't like her anyway. But, that's me being me. I didn't want him there. And then I told his mom the same thing through my sister, obviously, because there's no contact order. They both agreed that, okay, well, I'd have Dylan there. So I thought anyway. But then when he was missing and I walked into it, he was at the grandmother's. So I have that anger towards why he was there to begin with. But it's not my place at the same time, because his mom's allowed to do what she wants, right? I can't control what they do, but I still have that anger.
Well, I did see
the grandmother's hateful. She used to come to our marches and she wasn't invited to them, but she would take our posters, and she literally, I don't even think she's put out a poster in her life. She's just not been helping.
I saw someone in chat, I believe it was the Golden Girl, says that the grandmother hadn't drank in years. She is a recovered alcoholic, and that's not fair.
Sure, she's a recovering alcoholic, but why don't we ask the grandmother what brought her to be that alcoholic? And then once you find out the answer to that, come back and see if you still like the grandmother. Because I $100, I bet my bottom dollar you'd hate her guts.
We appreciate your comment.
It's disgusting. Disgusting what she had done.
Carrie wants to know if
to
there's
be
other
fair, I've stated before to y'all, and I see some of y'all talking in chat. I'm a recovering addict. Well, I say I don't believe I'm an addict anymore, because there's nothing that you could do in this world to make me ever use again. I'm sorry. I have no desire. I would never want to, but I don't want to diminish addicts in recovery or anything like that, because I just want to put that out there, because like I said, I used to be addicted to substances, and I have not been for about 10 years now. So I'm very touchy when it comes to that. So nobody is saying anything bad on that front. And I don't think he means it in that way either. I think they're dealing with a lot of things in this situation that a lot of people shouldn't have to deal with. You know what I mean? I just wanted to put that out there. So I found this real quick. It's only 1 minute and 4 seconds. It says Cadaver Dog. It's from his page. Got a hit on search for Dylan Ehlers. Cops waited 24 hours to check that area to see. Let me X out of this. So we'll watch this real quick. I don't know if this is from that day or from later, but it's what I could find.
Seems interested. We're playing with the rocks. My dog always done that.
No, she doesn't normally play with the rock. She don't work like that. She wants to dig something up to see what's under.
That's interesting. Okay. We'll continue on. The dog was in the water because there was a pair of boots found by the water where he went missing, and they were thought to be his boots. They were identified as his boots by the grandmother and the mother, and then the mother 4 years later or sometime down the road was watching videos of her son, and she saw her son walking across the kitchen in the boots, and they turned out not to be his boots. So they go back later and they're saying, they weren't even in his boots, but initially the dogs were searching the water for the child because his boots were found there.
Their grandchildren that she cares for sometimes.
No, a lot of the family. I think Ashley's sister sometimes had her kids over, but she had Dorothy's other daughter moved away because she couldn't face her mom no more for life. Probably because of the past, which I can't get into. Just
and you don't.
Her kids didn't like her. Her kids didn't like her too much. They would and they wouldn't. They would and they wouldn't. You know what I mean? It's major trauma back in the past.
I understand. And who actually bought the boots for Dylan? Did you buy the boots, or did the grandmother buy those boots that were missing?
I didn't buy them. So the grandmother bought them 2 weeks prior to his disappearance, on his birthday, April 16th, 2024.
Wow,
or 2020, April 16th, 2020. Sorry. Or yeah, that's when they would have been bought, April 16th, 2020, something like that.
Wow, so we only had them for 2 weeks. Okay,
Yeah.
That is very interesting. So this other video that we have pulled up here, which one is the video that you would like for us to see? I see you have one with 216,000 views here.
The one just down from CTV News, Note in a Bottle, which was a very, very interesting. You guys should play that too. It's actually very interesting. But
okay, so is that right underneath it?
Yep, the dog. Yep.
The dog.
Yep.
Okay, all right. So we will play this one.
This is the one that the cops neglected.
Okay, so it is the one we saw just now.
Can you make it bigger?
Probably not. You heard him ask in the one.
I can see it. You can see the dog digging.
You heard him ask in the one we just played, like, is the dog trying to play with the rocks, or is he digging?
That's the human remains dog.
Something. Now, my question would be, can a dog smell human remains through the water? Like, I would think it would be trained to smell human remains even in the water. But then you see movies, and like I've always thought, if somebody's chasing you and like dogs are after you, you get in the water because they lose the scent. So that's weird to me. I would have to look more into it. Some of you are saying yes, they could smell even in the water. I mean, the smell of decomposition is something that I've heard that, you never forget. So I imagine it's very strong. Would it be strong enough for them to smell through the water? Okay, so Cara said those dogs can smell from 6 feet down. Okay, all right, perfect. Thank you for that. Bella said, I think so. Cadaver dogs can. Okay, thank you guys for that. I love my fur babies too. We love some fur babies.
It keeps going even when the music stops. It's still one video. It's still going. So it's still going. Pretty concerning, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say that he's definitely hitting on something right there.
That was his second time back to that area after his trainer called him back. I have the other video, but that's good enough to prove my point that, and why didn't the cops properly search that? Why didn't they get a backhoe or something to dig it up? Why didn't they send search and rescue back to dig it up or do their job?
Right.
And then they lie about it. And they said that, so they said at the police complaint hearing that that dog gave the wrong signs.
What?
What? I hope dog handlers are watching this video right now, and you tell me how that even makes sense. That is a hit and a half right there. Human remains dogs don't make mistakes. Like the dog trainer said, it was either a bottle of piss or a human body, and obviously it's not a bottle of piss.
Yeah, I do believe that is a definite hit, and it really concerns me that they didn't go out there and...
I am still trying today to find some professionals to look into that for me. I know the exact area, but I will not do it myself. I don't want to fuck it up. And then before you know it, I'm interfering with the police investigation all of a sudden. I go dig that up, and the cops will be right up my ass. Like, I got so alienated about that video that the cops put a no contact order on me with the whole Truro police station. I'm legally not allowed to talk to the Truro police.
Wow.
Because I got mad about this video. So all of a sudden I'm harassing dispatch, but they wouldn't properly talk to me. They just shut me out.
Wow.
They actually got so mad at me one day that my private investigator had a meeting all organized and agreed on with the cops, and then was abruptly canceled due to me, because apparently misinformation about my son and misinformation about the police, which it wasn't, but they didn't like the fact that I was destroying them on Facebook with their mistakes. And they actually canceled the meeting with the private investigator, you know. And I remember making my police complaint. You go into the office and you fill out a form and you send it off. The chief called me that day, the same day I sent in my complaint, and said that, "Oh, I see you made a complaint against us." He's like, "You're not to talk to the lead investigator. You're to get one email a week, and you're not allowed to any of our meetings no more." So I was actually to sit out the last few weeks.
Why are they doing that? This man, like Abella said, this man is incredible. He's out here trying to do everything he can to find his child. Like, why? I mean, you need to update him. You could send him the email saying, "Look, you know, we're doing everything we can, depending on the situation. If he's emailing the crap out of you or calling the crap out of you, say, I can give you an update once a week, and we can go from there." Like, you know, if you're doing your job and he filed a complaint that's not accurate, then you're not going to get in trouble. So why are you blocking him from information pertaining to his son? Like, I cannot. I hope you have a good day, Cara. I hope you have a good day, love. Thank you for being here. Abellis, who lives in Canada, says, because the RCMP are assholes. Excuse my French. I mean, that's just bullshit. Excuse my French.
Meetings while his mom and other family members went on my behalf because I wasn't allowed.
Right. Justice Jane, I think you came in late. Yes, the Google articles don't say that they're not his boots, but if you were here at the beginning of the live stream, Jason, Dylan's father, did explain to us that has all changed. And they realized that the boots that were found are actually not the same boots that belong to Dylan.
If you are on Global News, I'm pretty sure I'm doing my interview Monday or Tuesday, so
okay,
it's going to be either Monday or Tuesday. It's going to be on Global News, that update. So it's a real update. This is all changing. The booth.
Okay, and again, Dutchess is going live tonight at 7:30. I will be there. Hope to see y'all there. Her link is pinned at the top of the chat. That's the pinned link at the top is to her channel. And we will be keeping an eye out for this man going on Global News. I just looked when I pulled up the article in the beginning. I double checked that, and I did not see anything from today. So I'll be looking for his update on Global News, and I will share it with y'all. Thank you, Michelle. Abellis actually speaks French. I do not. Toxic said, this is the RCMP again. They like to believe their poop don't stink, and they like being held accountable. They don't like being held accountable for piss poor jobs. Right. Commander Alpha Turkey, I can't tell you enough. I love your name. Says he's the type of person that I would want searching for me, advocating for me if I was ever in trouble. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Boots aren't his.
Well, we will definitely be sure to share that out. Is there another video that you want us to share off of your TikTok that you think is important?
No, I don't think it's important. It was more of a bittersweet story. It made CTV News. It made more attention for him, I guess. But
okay,
I found a note in a bottle, and it was kind of inspiring.
Okay, well, let's watch.
You can play it. You can play it if you want.
Sure.
The Truro man who's been searching for his missing son, Dylan, for for 3 years now, came across a letter in a bottle along a riverbank. That letter was written by a child almost 40 years ago, and today the two men met face to face. CTV's Hafsa Arif has the story.
Jason Ehler has been looking for his son Dylan almost every day since he went missing nearly 3 years ago. He presumably drowned in the Salmon River. He's never been found. While searching for clues of his whereabouts, Ehler stumbled upon something he wasn't expecting.
Just a bottle with a note in it. So I decided to try to open it. I couldn't open it, so I had to break the glass. And it was a letter, a note from 38 years ago.
The letter read,
My name is Greg Brightman. I'm 11 years old. Would you please send a letter back? Should you find it?
Greg Brightman, now 50 years old, is reunited with the letter he wrote when he was 11.
Complete shock. And I knew it as soon as I saw it on YouTube. I knew it was my writing. It was amazing. Couldn't believe it.
Something he never thought would happen.
Thought about it quite frequently. But I never expected to get anything back. Never.
For Ehler, this reunion is bittersweet.
You know, it's nice to get out on a search and find something that's a little bit of joy and bring someone some happiness and make you feel good instead of the life I'm used to, I guess.
Ehler's son vanished without a trace from his grandmother's backyard. Police believe Dylan fell into a stream and was swept away. The only evidence found were his rain boots. Every passing moment since then has been excruciatingly painful for the grieving father.
His birthday is coming up, April 16th. And it's a tough go without answers.
Ehler holds many memories of Dylan close to his heart.
We'd go through them and he'd make sounds, but when he got to the chicken, that was his favorite. And he'd do his cock-a-diddle-a-doo, and it was one of my favorite moments. I'll never forget that. I miss his voice. I miss everything about him.
It's a unique find on the shoreline, not what
Michelle said this dad needs support, and I agree. We can support right now by sharing the poster that is on my community tab. It's there, so you guys can share it out and get his picture out to as many people as possible. I don't know if there's any other ways to support. I will look and see what I can find on that. Hey, Corey. I can't imagine how he feels either, and I don't want to. I mean, this poor man. My goodness.
What he was looking for, but happy he did. Greg Brightman hopes to pass the frame letter down to his daughter. As for Jason Ehler, the search for answers for his missing son Dylan continues. He's asking anyone looking to help to join the search. Bruce?
All right, thank you for that, Hobson.
It was a little different, but it was
Scotia man, Jason Ehler, the Truro.
Okay, let me pause that and we'll get back over here. That was oh my gosh.
Very rare thing.
Yes. Esther, I think you accidentally got whacked by one of the mods, and I just want to tell you that I'm sorry. Please come back, Esther. Hopefully I tried to reset it so you can come back. So please type in the chat and let me know if you're able to come back. Listen, guys,
there is an age progression.
Dutchess said, please share his flyer, Jason's YouTube and TikToks, and his Facebook post. So that's what we'll do. Trixie has dropped his YouTube link and his TikTok link. I will drop his YouTube link again, and I will make a community post later today sharing this poster again and with all those links on it. I know they've been dropped a couple of times in chat. So if you guys could share that and the poster and everything else, that would help out. Thank you. Trixie, I'm sorry I have candy in my mouth. Trixie said, let's all support by flooding his TikTok and YouTube with encouragement. Yes, liking his videos, commenting thoughts of hope and praise. That would all be great. We should all do that. Absolutely. Great idea, Trixie. Everyone should have a dad that loves them like this. Yep. His son is so cute. I hope that he gets found soon.
There is an age progression of Dylan. There is another news clip on YouTube or on TikTok. But there is a age progression that OPP did, Ontario Police, between what he would look like between 5 and 6 years old.
Okay, is that the one with the flyer that has the drawing?
No, it would show that news guy again.
Okay.
You have to scroll down further.
The one from November the 4th?
Could be.
November 4th, 2022?
It could be.
Okay.
We can always try. I think
And I just dropped the link because I grabbed the link to the dog video. So that is the link specifically to the dog video. But if you click on that, you can pull his YouTube up and follow him there. I think we all need to do that. The more likes and comments he can get on his stuff, the more it'll push him out into the algorithm and thereby pushing Dylan out and his story. Dutchess said I asked him what he wanted on Dylan's flyer, and I made it to his specifications with the age progression, the picture of his boots, and the info he asked me to include. Thank you for that. I heard in the beginning that you had changed the flyer, and I was like, I said she probably sent me the updated one, and then when you read the first flyer, I made sure that it did have the information about the boots on it, the one I've shared. And I really think it's so great that you do that. I love the way your flyers are. They have a lot of color and they pop. So it brings more attention. Like somebody's more apt to stop and look at that one as opposed to one that's just like maybe white with the red missing letters. And so I did want to tell you that I really appreciate the way you do that because again, like if somebody sees your flyer as opposed to just a regular one, they're more apt to look at it. I think Artic does the same thing where his are pretty, they kind of pop a little bit. And it's sad information, but you doing it like that brings more eyes to the information, and I really appreciate that. I love the way you do those posters.
It's important to get his poster of his age progression. See.
And what is the current reward for any information that leads to
$20,000?
$20,000. Okay. All right, let me see if this video is it. I'm gonna look before I share my screen to see if this is it.
It is so kind.
I want to go forward to see if I can see if it's on this video.
Could be a guy on it.
Y'all, Dutchess is wonderful. She does fundraisers. She sells shirts, and I want to buy one when I get a little bit of extra money. And like the money from her shirts goes straight to organizations to help out. Like she does fundraisers. She's really a great person. I really like Dutchess a lot. I have a lot of respect.
I'm gonna share my screen. I want you to tell me if this is it. Is this the one right here?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Sorry to keep pausing. Corey said, did the grandma buy him 2 pair of boots because the information conflicts? I don't think the grandma bought him 2 pair. I think the grandma bought him 1 pair, and then there was mysteriously placed in the brook or in the creek a new pair of boots that were not his. They were different. They appeared different or looked different than the one Dylan had. The grandmother, from what it sounded like, bought the boots that he had and gave them to him for his birthday, but those boots have not been located because from what I understand, they were on Dylan and Dylan has not been located. I don't think the grandma bought 2 pairs of boots unless she is behind this and she placed a new pair of boots in the brook to make people think that, that he was missing in the water. But again, I don't want to place that on her. I don't know. I was not there. I didn't see. Dutchess said, thank you. I make Arctic flyers also. That makes sense. I like the flashy flyer on social. I feel like a flashy flyer on social media will catch people's attention. Yep, absolutely. It does. It does. She said, per Jason, just 1 pair of boots. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. My eyes will mix up words sometimes. Per Jason, just 1 pair for his birthday, 2 weeks before he went missing. Thank you. Yeah, you do excellent work. You really do. I have so much respect for you.
We'll find it in a second.
All right, let's play this and we'll see. Let's see if I can take it back to the beginning.
Which they push for will help locate their son.
Yeah, this is it.
Has been missing for 2.5 years. A new sketch imagining how he might have matured is being circulated to reignite the search. CTV's John McGinnis has our top story.
The sketches are difficult for Dylan Ehler's mother to look at.
It just hurts. It hurts to look at them, to think that he's still out there and not with us.
These age progression drawings depict what Dylan Ehler might look like today as a 5 to 6-year-old. Ehler disappeared in May of 2020.
I just wish they weren't sketches. Like, you know how they'll release like the age progressed photo? I wish they were photos, but I do appreciate them doing that.
Investigators believe he fell into a stream behind his grandmother's house. Searchers found his boots in the water, but nothing more.
Boots are irrelevant now.
Chance their son is somehow still alive.
Every day, there's no evidence, there's no proof of him going into that water other than boots. So it's you can't assume anything in a case like
So
this.
again, there was no footprints around the area. So the only thing that about the water was those boots there, and we've since found out that those boots were not his. Dutchess says that means so much. Thank you. We all can contribute in our own way. I'm an artist, so this is how I can help by making flyers for free. That's really sweet. I try to help contribute by pushing the information out as much as I can. I'm not smoking right now, bad girl. Actually, I was hitting a geek bar. I try to push the information out as much as I can. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's people who haven't seen the information that it gets out to. I wish I could do more. I mean, I wish there was more I could do. And I appreciate the fact that you're an artist and make those flyers for free. I love that. Michelle said, if that woman did such a thing to her grandson, I have no words. But as AS just said, we don't know and we weren't there, but it is sketchy AF. Yeah, I agree. It's sketchy AF. Sharing is the biggest way to help ever, says Dutchess. And yeah, that's the best thing we can all do. So please don't forget to share the flyer. That's in my community post. You can also find it in her community post. And then the links to his YouTube and TikTok that have been dropped throughout the chat. Michelle says, that's incredible, Dutchess. Yep, every little bit helps. It sure does. You never know, like even sharing it on your community wall, and let's say 2 people saw it. One of those 2 people might have seen him. So again, every little bit helps.
The renderings were completed by an artist with the Ontario Provincial Police. The Truro Police Service shared them on social media last week.
If he is out there, then hopefully the person that has him will bring him home, or we will get some sightings and hopefully we can find him.
Dylan's mother, Ashley, has a similar plea.
If you see these and you think that you recognize this little boy, then call your local police department, call Crime Stoppers, call the Truro Police, just call all of the authorities, report it, give them as much information as you can.
To help with an investigation of a missing boy that is still active. Investigators have stated they do not believe foul play was involved in Dylan's disappearance, and no one from the Truro Police Service responded to our request for an interview today. Todd.
Thank you for that, John. CTV's Jonathan McGinnis.
Yeah, they'll never do the news. It's. I hope they're on there this week on Global News, because they really got to do some explaining on these boots.
Now I want to ask you something, Jason.
Toxic, I'll drop it in Discord so that we have it there, and you can grab it from there. I sure will. Bad girl, I wish I could quit smoking. I actually don't have any right now, so I was hitting this geek bar. So, but yeah, I need to quit too. Especially if I'm like using my voice on YouTube. It's kind of my brand because I don't go on camera, so I really got to quit.
As I was doing some research into this case, I know that you guys have grappled with every possible theory for his disappearance, that maybe he was kidnapped by a stranger or even someone close to y'all. Maybe that his grandmother was part of some kind of bigger nefarious scheme. I know that there was someone seen carrying a large duffel bag to another house on Elizabeth Street.
Whoa.
that had a hole that had been dug in the backyard. Is that true?
Yeah, a lot of that. The hole in the backyard was Ashley's father's discovery. He was fighting that. It actually goes as far as search and rescue. Tom Fitzgerald again, actually, head of Colchester Search and Rescue. He noticed a guy wet from the waist down with a buzz cut, reddish beard, taller, is 6 feet, maybe a little taller. And he actually told the police about it, right? It was within the few hours of his disappearance. Well, within the first 6 hours anyway. Okay. And so that information never got relayed to his lead investigator. So 3 months later, we're told by Search and Rescue this. And I ask my lead investigator about it. He's like, well, I'm going to call Tom about that.
I just dropped the flyer in the staging area on the Discord, Toxic.
Never heard that one before. And he calls me back. He's like, yeah, we discussed it. It was probably just a good Samaritan fell in a sinkhole.
What?
So that's the gist of that.
Okay.
I've had ransoms also. I spoke about it.
That was my next question. Was I saw that psychics had told you guys where to look for Dylan, and that you had received ransom notes where people were claiming to have him, demanding $10,000 to $12,000 or 3 Bitcoins. And listen, this is a trigger warning right here, guys, in the chat. Trigger warning. Is it true that they sent you notes threatening to beat your son, throw him out of a moving car, and that one note actually included pictures of bloodied and battered women saying that Dylan would be next?
Yeah. I even had phone calls.
Jason, that's terrible.
I had one that actually called me. Sound foreign, wanted money. It actually got to the point where the cop was actually talking to him, but they could never figure out who it was. And it's real until it's not real. So it's very emotional, scary. Nancy Grace, we all know Nancy Grace, crime shows, Fox Nation.
Oh,
Fox
yes,
TV.
we are very.
That girl and Dutchess, I am so sorry.
Well, Nancy Grace. So her U.S. Marshal stated that actually ransoms are only in the movies. They do not happen in the United States, especially Canada. He's like sometimes overseas, but very, 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 very rare, more of a in the movies type deal. And he's like, for you to get 7 or 8 of them, he's like, just blew my mind. And this guy even wrote a book. I can't think of his name. He wrote a book. 36, 37 years, U.S. Marshal with missing children's unit or whatever, right? So very experienced guy. And he's like, just wow.
True Crime Cafe with Dago wants to know if Dorothy came up with a newly found sum of money after Dylan disappeared.
So all I know is I don't think she came. I have no idea. I don't have her bank records, but as far as I know, she had her roof done. So I mean, she doesn't own the house. Her husband's parents own the house.
Okay.
And actually, what I forgot to mention is he came home for lunch the day of my son's disappearance. So Jeff Parsons.
I'm so sorry, Dutchess. That's a hard thing to deal with. And I'm glad that you're able to go travel to see them. I'm sorry you're having to deal with that, though. I do pray for y'all. I pray for you and everybody dealing with things every single day.
Came home for lunch.
I'm sorry.
At around 12 o'clock and left probably 15 minutes, 10 to 1 p.m. And then Dylan actually went missing 12 minutes after that. So
wow,
they're the last known people to see him before he went missing. So it'd be Jeff Parsons, Dorothy Parsons, and obviously Ashley. His mom dropped him off that day.
Now, where was the granddad at the time that all of this took place?
Ashley's father.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I know that Dorothy called Norman Brown first when he disappeared, before even the police. Called Norman Brown, all scared.
Who is Norman Brown?
Ashley's father.
Okay.
And I know that Ashley's father was there when I showed up. So he was already there before I discovered he was missing. And then Ashley didn't discover he was missing until probably an hour after I discovered it, because she was at a friend's house. And I actually had to argue with the police officer for her father to go get her, because they wouldn't let me due to shock. Probably wouldn't let anybody due to shock, but I pushed so goddamn hard that go get his mother, basically. Like, we're doing this, or I'm going to fucking jail because we're doing this. She needs to be here. Her son's missing. She needs to know. And so he went down and picked her up because I had broken her phone in that fight. She bought a new phone, but she only had Text Now. So Text Now is an app, and you need internet to use the phone. So where her friend was at, they didn't have internet, so no way to communicate with her. So her father went down, picked her up, and then told her on the way home that her son was missing.
Okay. And so,
and it's very different. Let me get into this a little bit, see what you guys think, the audience thinks. So Ashley gets to her mom's to find out that Dylan disappeared. That night, I watched Ashley Brown cry herself to sleep. I don't think Ashley has anything to do with anything. Even having the mistake with the boots, under shock, pressure. I mean, people make mistakes. It's a big mistake, but I still deeply believe she's got nothing to do with it. But that night, after Ashley fell asleep, I remember the grandmother playing a video game all night long because I didn't sleep. I actually stared out the window all night long. I think at 2:30, I went out and searched because I wasn't allowed to, but I did anyway. And then I went out for like 20 minutes and the cop seen me and drugged me back, basically. And she was still playing the game on Facebook. So I always wondered, always stuck in my head, how can you focus on a game when you just lost your grandchild? How is that even possible, right? I'll never understand it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe I should ask some counselors that same question, right? Like, that's it. How do you concentrate on a game? But what do I know, right? There's something about her, and I'll say it on every podcast. There's just something about her story. And like I said, 36 years, major crimes. Dave Worrell, our private investigator, states in W5 News with Avery Hames the same thing. I'd be a little worried about her story, and her timeline does not make sense. So there's always that stuck in my brain.
Now, this area where the brook is the grandmother's yard where she was at with the dog, is that fenced in away from the brook that leads to the Salmon River? Is there anything that, or is it just an open backyard?
It's almost completely fenced in. There's a gap in the fence on the side where the road is, and there's a gap where the driveway is, obviously. So there's only two ways that boy could have went. He could have made it through the gap in the fence or headed towards the street, Queen Street. And like my private investigator, Dave Worrell, said, retired cop, the Truro police didn't even entertain the fact that the child could have ran to the street. So they didn't canvass Queen Street. They didn't approach people and ask if they seen Dylan. Can they check their house? Do they got cameras? They actually didn't entertain the street whatsoever. And Dorothy's house is on the corner of Queen Street and Elizabeth Street. So there's at least 27 houses on Queen Street that the cops never even approached.
Okay, so going back to hold on just a minute, and we'll pull back up that image I had, because I was talking about if he was right there, then it's possible for somebody to have grabbed him and put him in a car. Hold on, let me pull that up. So it appears from what they were saying, I hope that y'all can see my mouse. Yeah, you can. So it appears that he was on this part of the road. Oh, no, you can't. Now you can. Okay. It appears that he was up here by Elizabeth Street and Queen Street as opposed to way down here. So it makes sense that somebody could have been driving by on Queen Street and grabbed him from maybe this house. I think this is a location of a house. These houses right here. Somebody driving by could have seen him in the yard if she lives at the corner of Elizabeth and Queen. So I did want to share that real quick because we were talking about that. So here you can see it. So evidently they're in this area somewhere right here. And then so it looks like Queen is a big street. There's the overpass they've been talking about. So somebody could have drove down Queen Street and possibly grabbed him that way. Okay. Hold on just a minute. Just a minute. Hey, Pam, thank you for being here. All right. Oh, thank you back, girl.
So Dave Worrell said it could have been a manpower thing. He stated, when all you do is knock on doors, and that's all you do is knock on doors, you could do it for 6 hours. You knock on doors and you get information. That's what cops do. And everyone that they approached with his team were never approached by police. So, like I said, a lot of negligence with the police. Like my lawyer said, the day he went missing, it was like all they did was drive around. They actually were not looking for Dylan. They just drove around. They didn't
And when they found
do
the
anything. They didn't block the traffic. They didn't block people from interfering with the crime scene, the area Dylan went missing. So everybody was just trampling through, and it was a mess. Right. It's all on. If you watch W5 News, it explains everything. It's called the bizarre disappearance of a 3-year-old toddler. Where's Dylan? W5 News. Their very first hour episode they ever did, was for Dylan.
Now
that's good to hear.
Were there any cameras in the neighborhood? And they did not canvass the neighborhood, but did anybody have any cameras or doorbells?
No, because I seem to be smart. We came up with the idea of questionnaires, so we filled out a shit ton we made questionnaires. And one of the questions would be, do you have a door cam? Do you have any cameras around the house? Did search and rescue approach you? Did the cops approach you? Did you see Dylan? And all these questions were on the questionnaire, same with their address and signature. So Ashley, I can't remember if she was stressed or not, but I went and did it myself. And I went to 28 places, and not one of them were approached by police and asked any of that. So I got it all anyway. And then me and my big mouth, I told the deputy chief. And then right away, the deputy chief took them from me. He's like, we need them right now. And then he photocopied them and gave me the originals back. Still don't know why you needed them.
Because
But
they hadn't done it.
Okay, and so Dorothy has a husband that is the stepdad to Ashley. His name is Jeff. Were they close to the police at all? True Crime Cafe with Jago asks.
were they close to the police? Not to my knowledge.
Okay, and where was Dorothy's husband Jeff at the time when all of this took place?
He was on break for lunch, and then he went back to work at 1 o'clock for 1 o'clock. He lives about 5 minutes away, so.
And what
he would need
time?
to drive
What time
back.
of day did all this take place on the 6th? With
Right. Pam J says fingerprints of everyone. I don't know if you were talking about something else, but like we're not pulling any camera footage of anybody nearby. I've seen something, I can't remember if it was a movie or an actual story, but you know, there's a child was kidnapped and it was like the next door neighbor, and the police actually did go by and they were searching the area, and I think they didn't find the child in the house the first time, but they found him the second time. So again, why are you not doing this? That child could have been in somebody's house right then, and y'all are down at the creek, which I understand would have been accurate at the time to be there, but you could have sent somebody else. I mean, you got to lock down the whole area. You got to start questioning neighbors. You got to pull camera footage, ring doorbells, securities, all of that. Why wasn't that done?
With Dylan going missing.
Dylan was reported missing at around 1:15.
And do the
PM.
police believe that he drowned? Is that what they told you they believe happened to him?
They believe that because of the boots that were found.
And
But
now the boots are not back.
4.5 years later, basically, the boots were identified wrong. So now it's a completely different game. It's a game changer. It completely changes everything. So the big question is now, whose boots were found in the brook and why were they there to begin with? So I talked to another retired cop, Gillis Blinn, and like he said, he's like, it almost seems like the grandmother needs to account for 2 pairs of boots now. Because there's 2 pairs of boots now. So where's Dylan's boots that he had on? But whose boots were in the brook? Where'd they come from? Were they planted? Where did they come from? Why are they there? Why were they there?
And you've never found his original boots, is that correct?
As of right now, yes, that's correct. Like I said, I'm going on Global News to make that update to the world this week. It's a bizarre case, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And I do understand that as of 2022 in January, that marked the 100th search organized by you and Ashley, but
No.
that you guys had marked like 100 different searches, big and small, that you guys had actually done on your own.
No, it's way more than that. I don't know where they got the number from.
That
'cause
was
I've
just
never.
in 2022. So,
Yeah.
you know, so I don't
No,
know.
I don't even keep track of my searches, so I don't know where they got the number from.
don't know.
I can
This is
tell
really
you,
amazing.
let's say 2 to 3 searches a week for almost 4 years. That's a lot of searches. So if we were to say in 1 year, it'd be fucking thousands of searches. Well, there's 380, there's 300 and some days in a year, so
Right.
it'd be damn near close to every day. Be, I guess, 100, 150, almost 200. That's all I did. That's all I did was search.
That is a lot. And you said that you also had marches as well. Tell us about that.
We marched against the police, organized by me. Obviously, Ashley helped organize them, but they always said organized by Jason. It's like anything to do with the cops, it seemed like they were going to throw me into it.
Yep.
But we marched. One of the marches got out of control. We all ended up in the Truro police lobby. It's on the news also. It got really bad. You know, we're all screaming, "We want help! We want to help!" Banging on the windows. It got really bad. Oh yeah.
It sounds like that was
Because we're all realizing all these mistakes, and they don't want to admit to them. They don't want to admit to their mistakes, and it's pissing people off.
Sure. Jenna Jean says, did they investigate the grandparents' phones and their digital footprint?
I think they did with the grandmother, but not the step Jeff Parsons. They did a horrible job. Okay, here. This is one from my lawyer that most of you probably never heard. So, breaking protocol. Here's a different one for you. So, on the day of my son's disappearance, the Truro police were called in on a possible tip at a superstore in Truro, Nova Scotia. So the Truro police went over to look at the footage from the superstore. The manager clerk comes out, said, "I just reviewed the video. It's not Dylan." The cop, I'm not even going to say the cop's name, but I know it. They said, "Okay, that's fine," and they left. They actually went off the clerk, and they actually did not look themselves. It's like, well, what's the point in a cop? Like, how are you even going to let a manager look at a video and identify that it wasn't Dylan when that's the cop's job? They're not.
Oh my gosh. Why? Well, I mean, why wouldn't you at least check it? Abella said the mistakes are heartbreaking. This poor dad. Bad Girl said they already knew and was waiting for you to say it out loud. At least your parents were open-minded and had a great sense of humor too. Oh, you're talking about somebody else. I don't understand this. Like, why? And then you have to ask, like, okay, are the mistakes they're making on purpose? And then if that's the case, why?
They're not professionalized, and you know what I mean? Like, what? That's true stuff. This actually happened, and they get away with it. Like, I mean, if you actually really look deep, the mass shooting, it was, I think, the RCMP's biggest fuck up in Canada history, where Justin Trudeau actually had to fly down and lecture them. It was so bad and disgusting. And
oh my God.
Then my son went missing, and it was even on the news that the Truro police were sending threatening emails to the RCMP just across the bridge in Bible Hill. So these cops weren't even getting along when my son went missing. And what separates the RCMP from the Truro police is this tiny little bridge. They're probably within 5 kilometers of one another. And the RCMP had control of one side of the river. So if they're not getting along, you know, you got some friction there. Like, this, go look on the news. This all happened.
Right. I did see in February of 2023, the Nova Scotia Police Review Board held hearings to address y'all's complaints that the investigation was mismanaged and things like that. And
but then you got to remember the mass shooting also. That was even a bigger shit show. So I'm just saying, all these police officers, just the same issue. They never send out an alert when the mass shooter was killing people. They actually waited until the next day to send out an alert. And already 10 people were probably killed by then. All night he was killing people, and they never alerted anybody until late the next day. Just an example, family members were getting body parts back in their vehicles from the cops. There were cops wearing the blue line badge. That's against the law now. That strip.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about? That strip. There's a big meaning behind that. That means someone fucked up and they're going to back them up, kind of thing. It's like a little gang symbol. It's the blue line. Cops are not allowed to wear it no more. If you watch news footage from the mass shooting and officers.
Stoic said, I'm pretty much speechless. This is beyond horrific. What the hell? This man should have all the help and support possible. I want to just hug him. I cannot believe the nightmare he's been going through. I can't either. And I hope he hears you say that, because I think a lot of people feel that way. And thank you for sharing that. I mean, this is just crazy. I don't even understand how they're still able to be police or, you know, in a position of authority like that with all of these quote unquote mishaps.
They were all wearing it, all fucking covering up. And they had, you know, top, you know, cops from Halifax retiring, like the big guys. Like, it was a mess, total mess. It was so bad that there was a Truro police officer shooting at an RCMP officer thinking it was Gabriel Wardman.
Wow.
They weren't communicating.
Now, I heard about this 3-person board that they heard testimony about the search for Dylan, and it says here that they had 6 days of searching, 18 hours of aerial surveillance in unusually high and dangerous conditions of the Leper Brook that spring.
Beth said, Jason is speaking the absolute truth here from Nova Scotia and lived this entire mess. Oh my God. I'm so sorry y'all had to deal with that. Pam said he's in Canada. Yes, the boy we're talking about is Dylan Ehlers, the person on the thumbnail, the little boy on the thumbnail. Dylan Ehlers, I think is how you say his name. It's his father speaking. And he went missing May 6th of 2020 from his grandmother's front yard. And his father's trying to get his information out there. It was from Truro, Nova Scotia, Canada.
Spring day in May. Does that sound accurate to you, or?
It's accurate, but it's... See, I always go back to the police complaint commissioner. The day Dylan went missing, it says right on my disclosure. I should share it one day if I was legally allowed to, but on the disclosure it says the RCMP dive team would not dive in the brook because the conditions were too dangerous.
Right.
But then you see a police officer with his canine in the water searching. Now, explain that one to me.
Well, frankly, nothing out of Canada surprises me. I covered a case of 3
Right?
missing Native American women, and they were told they are very much believed to be in this landfill, and they were told by the RCMP that they wouldn't search the landfill because it was too dangerous.
Yeah, how does a dive team not dive in a brook? Like, are you really, is this really saying this on the paperwork right now? Like, it just angers me. It's like, they're screw ups. So with the screw ups, they got to counteract with their, man, it's if people only realize you got
Ehler, thank you, Beth.
to deal with a missing child, you got to deal with fighting for him, but then you got to live with all the fuck ups that the government don't want to let out for lawsuit reasons or whatnot. So, you know, on top of the missing child, the cyberbullying, all that, I got to think back the people I put all my trust into, I fucking hate, you know, to the point where I overthink it. You know, I'm like, what was so bad? What happened that was so bad in my son's investigation that the deputy chief retired? How bad did you guys actually fuck up that I don't even know about? You know what I mean? Like, how bad was this? Like my lawyer said, Dylan would have been found if in fact they did their job proper. Nobody was looking for Dylan that whole fucking day. That's the problem.
Wow.
Now I have another question. I saw that I think it was around October 2023 that you had documented one of your searches along the banks of the Salmon River, and you actually pulled out a pair of camo pants that resembled the ones that Dylan was wearing the day that he disappeared. Tell me about that.
So me and my ex-girlfriend were on a search, and we came across a pair of camel pants.
Right, Abella?
With the no contact order, I didn't feel safe bringing them to the Truro police. A no contact order means no direct or indirect, you know, contact. So it's a really weird situation I'm in. So I take them back to New Brunswick where I was living, and I take them to Sackville Police, and the Sackville Police said, well,
Abella said they have searched or / are searching the landfill now because of pressure from the community. Thank you for that information. I don't know if y'all ever looked into the amount of Indigenous women and people that have gone missing, but that is insane. I don't know if you've ever seen, I like the Indigenous culture. I like to watch videos where they dress in their, you know, where they go to powwows and things and they dance in their I don't know how to say it, but their uniforms for their culture. And they'll put their hand, it'll be like a red mark on their face in representation of all the women, children, and people that go missing and get no help. It's a substantial amount of Native American women that go missing and are never heard from again, and the police don't do crap about it. I mean, it's just really sad.
well, you should have took them to the Truro Police. It's their jurisdiction, their case. We can't give them to them to the police. So we fought about that, fought. And then I ended up driving back to Truro and giving it to them anyway. They weren't Dylan's. There's hundreds. I think I have 780 search videos just on my YouTube. All individual searches pretty well. So I've done a lot of searches. Those are just ones I made videos of because I noticed making search videos with some music and stuff like that was really catching people's attention to the point where I'm followed literally across the world, like from all different provinces in the UK, Australia, you know, pretty well every state in the United States, Canada. I've done medium psychics. I've done videos and worked with them. The UK, different provinces, right? Like all over the world. I've done so many medium psychic ones that I don't even believe in psychic mediums no more because he's still not found because I've done so many that they just don't even make sense no more. I've done a lot, like every day, all day.
You have really, really been through a lot, Jason, and I commend you for still, you know, hanging in there. I mean, this had to be very difficult for you.
It is. Like I said with the movie team, they've never seen someone with my fight drive before, and I've heard it from many, many, many people around the world. It's just people fight, but I fight every day. If you go back every day for the last 4 years, you're going to see some sort of fight every damn day.
And you're still currently actively searching for your son in the Bay of Fundy?
I am. Well, it's more we're walking for Dylan ever since the discovery of the misidentification of Dylan's boots. It's kind of made me not want to search the bay no more because I just know damn well he didn't go in there. Something else happened.
Do you want me to show those pictures of the boots?
I'm doing a search this Sunday in Truro because I still feel like it's the meaning behind searching for him, because we're not 100%. So there's still a possibility he did go into the water, but it's a higher likely chance he didn't. So I still have to search. I put a stop to the searches because I had no vehicle, so it was hard for me to get to the searches. But now that I do, I can get back to what I normally do.
Now, are you looking for people to help you?
We got about 35 more minutes of this, and I do want to thank you all for being here, because this is really important to get out here. This is really important to listen to. It's really, what's more important than all that, though, is sharing this information. This is a very important case. This child is currently missing, so the more we can talk about it and get it out here, the better, because we need to find this child. Bad Girl said, keep pushing, Jason. There will be closure, and it will be from all of your perseverance. Thank you for that. I hope he hears that. Rubber says Jason is strong. He is. Still side-eyeing Grandma. I think I am too. I don't want to wrongly accuse anybody, but I've got some suspicions.
You in the searches, if there's because we have a lot of subscribers and people that live in Canada. Maybe there's people that are listening to this podcast right now that might be in your area, that might be willing
I want anyone and everyone to join the searches. This search will be at the end of Elizabeth Street, right by the grandmother's house, around the area where Dylan went missing. And I really want to focus. I've searched it 1,000,000 times, but now that the boots aren't his, you think differently now. So I really want to just go and have another look again, and just really, get my head wrapped around all this new stuff that's been happening. Maybe I can find the boots.
This is the poster for Dylan Ehler. Thank you, Pam, for replaying. This is the missing poster for Dylan Ehler, and again, it's on the community. It's on my community post, and I'm going to put it out again today with his links to all his channels.
Yeah, it's frustrating. We're missing something, and there's something missing, and it's possible you can find it near the foundation of where he went missing. So you can look somewhere 1,000 times, and you can miss it every time. Maybe one of these times we're not going to miss it. And then I'll just continue up the river and down the bay all over again. I'll do it again. I'll search the whole damn thing again, because that's my purpose. That's what I want to do. I live for finding him. I need to start to find my own life and try to find some happiness, but I'm still fighting that.
The thing about Dylan is he's got one eye that's his right eye is half hazel and half blue, and his left eye is all the way hazel. So if you see, you would be able to tell by his eyes that's a pretty distinctive thing.
All I want to do is fight. It's I just want to fight. I want to find him.
I know you do.
But it's starting to make me sick. Now I'm getting counseling now after 4 years. I noticed I was starting to slip a little bit. People don't realize when you are investigating somebody, you can ask a cop, you actually get sick from it. It makes you sick. Can you imagine investigating for 4 years straight? I'm starting to get sick a little bit, if that makes sense. My mind's starting to affect the brain.
I'm sure it is really taking a toll on you, and you are in our thoughts and prayers. You have so many people in this chat right now that are supporting you and praying for you. And, we want you to know that we understand. We cover cases here all the time. And here's Cherries. Cherries is in the chat, and she's missing her son. He's grown, but she still hasn't been able to find him. We have a lot of parents here that know what you're going through, and that struggle is so very difficult. Cherry,
I feel like
Cherry's son is Paul Flores. We covered Dutchess's stream, one of her streams that she did on it. We covered that one a while back. If you guys want to look at that, that's another one that needs to be shared. Pam said, Dad will never give up. Good man. He is a good man. Michelle says, I've been reading about this case just now. Wow, horrific. And if I can motivate you to do that, to look into it, maybe it'll move you to share it more or other things. All of these things are great things, and I appreciate you doing that, Michelle.
The worst part of this whole thing is feeling like I'm fighting the battle alone. I'm in this nightmare alone.
Yeah.
I don't talk to my family. I don't talk to Ashley. I don't talk to anybody in Nova Scotia, really. So it's tough to fight a battle by yourself and to feel like you're alone in the situation, because it's a very rare thing that Dylan is the youngest child to go missing in Nova Scotia history.
Oh
He's
my
the
God.
youngest to ever go missing in Nova Scotia, so it's tough.
Wow. What are things that you are asking people on social media to do to help support finding Dylan? What is it that you need from us here out in the public?
I want people to follow my Facebook. I want people to share his posts. I'm always looking for new ideas, and that could be anything. It could be a different way to make a poster. It could be a resource I might not have heard of. Anything like that. And what I'm planning on doing for people with missing people, to give back to the community of missing people, because we're in this club, this horrible club, and it really sucks, and I'm going to call it a club. It's a shitty club. But I want to make a pamphlet for police stations, different police stations around the world. And I want it to be like a pamphlet of all the resources. Example, Nova Scotia Canine Search and Rescue, or Wings of Mercy, based off drone technology looking for the missing. You have to register your child under Crime Stoppers. They don't do that automatically. If he's not registered, he's not known.
Oh my
All
God.
these things that took me months and months and months and months to find out about. I think it's crucial to make a pamphlet so when a child goes missing, the family gets that pamphlet right away, so they have all these resources right in front of them, because you can't depend on just the cops. And the cops don't give you all these resources. You actually got to go find them yourself, and by the time you find them, it's almost too late. Like, example, Nova Scotia Canine Search and Rescue, we found out about them 4 to 6 months after his disappearance. You imagine if we had found them days of his disappearance?
I agree with you.
He disappeared, you know what I mean?
I agree with you wholeheartedly. Resources are a valuable asset for any parent of a missing child. Jason, can I ask you a question? Have you ever thought of starting an organization that helps with the missing there in Canada? Because I think you would be a great asset, and you would be able to provide.
That is a great idea, and I'm glad he's doing that, because a pamphlet to help families that are unfortunately going through this. I mean, think about something like that happen, and you're going to be stressed out, traumatized. You're not even going to be thinking about these things and thinking the police are doing it for you, and then to find out later that they're not. It would be great information to know. The first 48 hours is crucial and critical. Yes, absolutely. Kelly said, apparently in the upper echelons of society who do heinous crimes to children seek out children with those eye qualities. Madeline McCain is another child that has fairly rare eye coloring. And yeah, I don't want to take this to a bad area, but I'll be honest with you, the thought crossed my mind. Yeah, I worry about that too. And then you hear, and I don't want to bring this up, like, take it to a bad place, but then you hear about all the things the police are botching. The thought has crossed my mind as well, Kelly, going down that avenue. And Lord, I pray that I'm wrong. Please let me be wrong.
Provide these resources to parents that may not be aware of them.
I want to do it with all my heart, and I just have no idea where to start. I don't know how to do that, if that makes sense. I don't know how to start it. I mean, if I had someone that could take the time to maybe show me how to pursue that, I would definitely want to do it. I just don't know where to begin.
I hear you. I'm not sure with Canada, but I know in the United States, there's paperwork that you fill out for a 501c3 to get started and get yourself as a nonprofit organization that helps with missing kids. But I'm not sure how it goes in Canada, to be honest with you.
I'm going to look further into it. Maybe someone can help me out. Maybe someone watching can message me and help me out.
Well, I have a few moderators in here right now.
With my brain right now and dealing with all these other things that are going on, it's hard to, if I just had a little bit of help with some of this stuff, I'd probably go pretty far with it. I know I would.
Well, I've got some moderators in here that are from Canada, and I'm going to talk with them to see if they can put me in touch with some people that might be able to help you out, Jason. And
just to give me that little nudge in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, because you need all the help that you can get, and we'll do whatever we can to try to help.
Sounds like a plan. You have my messenger and stuff, so.
And I know True Crime with Dago, he's another channel that covers cases. I know he's willing to be able to talk about Dylan on his channel over there, and I think he does a really good job. So, we'll just keep spreading awareness. And when we finish this live stream, you can send me all the information that you want to have on that flyer that I worked on, so we can update the information about the boots and about his eye color and anything that you want to add to this.
And the flyer that, again, I have on my community post is the updated one. Oh.
flyer. If there's different pictures you want me to put on there,
Definitely, I will.
we'll put all of that information. These are some of the other flyers that I have seen on social media going around. You know, if you see any of these flyers, guys, on social media, please share them for Jason and for Ashley, because I know that they really do want to find answers about what actually happened to their 3-year-old son. And remember, there is a $20,000 reward for any information leading to Dylan. This is out of St. Truro, Nova Scotia, Canada. Again, he was 3 years old when he went missing on May the 6th of 2020. He's got kind of blondish brown hair. His left eye is hazel. His right eye is half hazel, half blue. And he was last seen wearing that green winter jacket with a fur hood, orange lining, the USA patches on the arms and chest, a red dinosaur t-shirt, green camouflage jogging pants, white pull-up, and gray and orange rubber boots, which we know the boots are no longer in play because of recent information that Jason...
If you go on my Facebook, one of the top posts, you will see what his boots look like. His actual real boots.
Can we go over and look at that?
Sure.
Okay,
I think what would be a real big help too is everybody share this YouTube live, because we talked about a lot of things that a lot of people don't know about. So I think a lot of people need to know about these boots. I know Global News is sharing it, but we can still do our part by sharing that this case is completely changed.
Absolutely, Jason. And Chris had a question. She wants to know why it says that he was seen wandering off. Is that just an assumption?
That's just an assumption. Nobody's seen Dylan that day, as far as we know. Nobody mentioned it to the police the days of his disappearance, within days. So if someone actually seen him wander off, there was actually a young boy that did go missing in Truro around the same time, but was found within minutes of him running off. So there was a little boy that maybe some people thought was Dylan, but it wasn't.
Tell me about this picture right here, Jason.
So the blurry picture is his real boots that were seen in a video that were zoomed in, and that's the best picture we can get even for the police. So that's what we have to work with. If you scroll to there should be a picture of just the blurry boot without the circle in it.
Okay, let me see if I've got that. Tried to blow it up so you guys could see.
Oh, there we go. I can see it right there at the bottom left corner. Yeah. So those are what his actual boots look like. And then if you go back to the news or any other video that shows the other boots, that's what we think they actually look like. I'm trying to match what that blurry picture looks like.
Yeah, because what that looks like and what this picture looks like, it doesn't.
No, if you can type in W5 News, the bizarre disappearance of Dylan, it'll show W5 News. It'll show what we thought his boots look like. The boots on that are going to be the ones that were identified wrong. So then you got an idea on the wrong ones and the right ones. And you'll see there's comparisons. So it's almost like someone tried to buy boots that were similar, threw them in the water to distract the cops. That's what it looks like now.
And that's really intriguing about this case. Why would somebody do that? Why would somebody, I mean, you got to think about what's the motive behind that. Thank you, Kelly, for being here.
Now, is this on a news article or is this?
No, this is W5 News. So if you go to YouTube, type in W5 News, Dylan Ehler.
Ah, I see it. Okay.
Yeah, it's got 1.7 million views. Well, it's W5 News. It's pretty big.
I see the official W5 News. I'm just looking for that particular.
The boot should be the main picture.
I see that. Where's Dylan? It looks like they had a 44-minute special about him.
Yeah, that's the longest episode ever. Now you see the boots in the picture, right?
Let me see if I
those were the ones that were identified, but they were identified wrong.
Are they the ones in the blurry picture, or did I miss something? Because the ones in the blurry picture, to me, look more like shoes than they do boots.
The ones in the blurry picture are the boots that we just discovered. So the whole time Ashley thought the boots that should be brought up here in a second from W5 News are the ones that the police found in the brook. The one in the blurry picture is the actual boots.
Okay.
She made a mistake. So when she identified them wrong, she's like, oh fuck. And she went through a video and noticed the blurry boots. And then she realized, well, they look nothing like the ones I identified. And if you go back to that video, Dylan's in the picture with them boots too, right? So
I see this on the video.
Yeah. So you see the top of those boots, they got the stripes. The bottom of them boots would have the stripes too. I wish I could pop up a picture, but that's fine. If you watch W5 News, you'll see the boots anyway.
Yeah, this is I'm going to grab this link for this video, and I'll be sure to add it in the description, but they're all linked in the description box. If anybody wants to go click on the links of this video, you can see where I got all of the information that I was researching about this live stream, and I will be sure to add the link to this particular video to it, so that if you want to watch this video, it is 44 minutes, and I think it will be really good. We may have to revisit this and watch this video.
I think it's very.
We'll have to revisit this as well. There's a couple of things I want to pull up on this case that I'd love to go through with you guys, so we're definitely going to dig into this and see what we can pull.
Very important that everybody watches it because W5 News is a huge, and Avery Haynes is the best investigating journalist in Canada. I mean, she's done shows everywhere in the world. So when you watch this, you got to remember the boots are not Dylan's, because back then the mom thought they were his. Now they're not his. So.
Is this the brook?
Yeah, that's the brook. I talk about the brook in it and everything.
And this looks like it's pretty fast moving water.
Depends on the day. At the end of the day, it's still a brook.
Yeah, that's true. But anything's possible. Do you tell me, Jason, do you believe that your son is still alive out there?
So ever since his mom came in with identifying his boots wrong, I believe he's alive more than ever, because now I know he didn't go in the brook. Because if you look at the difference between the boots, they're similar, but they're different. So it really looks like even the cops now think that it almost looks like they were planted.
How deep do you think that water is in the brook?
The cops said it was up to their chest, but at the hearing, they were bringing at the hearing, my lawyer brought up a picture of when they found the boots, and it wasn't even up to their waist. So they were exaggerating the depth of the water.
I didn't even realize a brook could be that deep, y'all.
It's not that deep. It's less than waist deep. If you look at police reports, it's going to say up to their chest. But if you actually go and look at videos of them searching in the river, which is deeper, not one of the members are up to their chest, even in the river. So it's all exaggerated. The news exaggerates, the cops exaggerate. It's no deeper than your waist at some points of the brook.
Now, when the police came out to do this search,
and that's on a high day.
Did they happen to search the grandmother's house? Did they search y'all's house? Did they
several
do any
times?
Searches several times?
The grandmother's, yes. Not our place. He wasn't there.
Okay.
I wasn't even questioned ever. Because when my son went missing, I was on a landline. I was on my mom's landline talking to victim services. So,
I mean, but again, that's weird. I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but usually they question all the parents. Even if you were on a landline, it seems like they would question everybody. So again, I mean, I've got questions. Yeah, the dog was sticking out. The whole dog was sticking out of the water. Like, how is it up to your chest, sir?
It's impossible for me to be two places at once. Impossible. So, they questioned the mom. They questioned the grandmother. I requested the lie detector test on her. It was inconclusive. This is still a very active and ongoing investigation. And let's bring Dylan home.
Please, God.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We will definitely, I will get that flyer fixed, and I will make sure to share that on my YouTube community wall, as well as my Facebook and my Twitter. Please make sure that you're following Jason on YouTube. He does have a channel. Tell us about your channel and the name of your channel.
My channel is DED with a blue and green heart. The blue and green hearts stand for his vertical eye. There's two different colors. DED stands for Dylan Ehler's dad. And if you go through my videos, there's search videos, there's actual recordings of the very first meetings with police and search and rescue. There's recordings of the cops getting mad at me with a ransom. There's many different things in my YouTube channel that is worth watching. Not only to show how the police treated us, but how hard that I've been working on looking and trying to locate my son.
And I'm going to grab all the links from her, but I'm also going to make sure that I've got the YouTube and the TikTok links, and they will be in a community post later. I will put them in the description box of this video later this evening as well. I will make sure all of those links are there. I myself will be following him. I myself will be at Dutchess's tonight at 7:30 for her live stream on Missing Flyers Monday, I think is what it's called.
And you can also go to my TikTok, which I have no idea what it's called. But I have a TikTok also. Jason Ehler.
Yeah, I think it's just under your name. I'm going to go over here and see if I can pull up your channel, and that
I
way, and I think they are
almost,
sharing it.
I think I have 18,000 followers on it or something.
Y'all make sure that you go over there and subscribe to his channel and follow him for updates, because he does post there, and he does post on TikTok as well. And True Crime
Facebook.
Cafe with Dago, yes, and on Facebook. Dago wants to know, can he play your videos on his channel as well to spread awareness for Dylan?
You can do and have whatever you want from them.
I
Thank you.
appreciate you doing that, Dago, so very much.
I would love that. Share away, share everything.
And thank you guys so much for showing support to Jason and his family as they continue to fight for justice and find answers about what actually happened to little Dylan. You guys have been so very supportive, and I see a lot of people in chat are saying that they sub to you. Thanks, y'all.
I just want to say thank you so much, everyone, for supporting and following and being there when I need you guys. Like I've said a million times, I wouldn't be this far without you guys. I mean that with all my heart. I'm going to go, and I'll let these guys finish off. Take care, everybody. Thank you guys so much for having me on your show. Take care, everyone. Let's bring Dylan home.
Let's do it. Thank you, Jason, so much. Take care. If you need anything, just reach out and let us know. Y'all put some hearts and prayer hands in the chat for Jason.
Please say a prayer.
Y'all, he has to be so exhausted. I mean, did you hear all the things that he's been through?
Right.
Yeah, it's devastating. It's devastating. And it reminds me so much of Summer Wells' case and Sebastian Rogers' case and so many of the other cases that we've covered over here.
Absolutely.
I just felt like it was really important. I wanted him to know that we were going to share his son's story. And he said, I will go anywhere to talk about my son because I'm desperate to find him. If you send me a link, I'll be there. And so I did, because I felt like when you hear it from the family, you know how serious it is.
Right.
And when he was telling me today about the harassment and the things that he has gone through, people vilifying him, I really just don't know, Artic, how I would react in that situation. If my child was missing, I would probably be off the rails.
Me too. Me too. And like I said, my heart goes out to Jason because, you know, I really wish that people had compassion and wanting to just rip parents apart at the first chance they get, with nothing put out by law enforcement saying they had anything to do with the disappearance. But, you know, that's what brings clicks and views, I guess.
Yes. And in the beginning, y'all, I did ask him about did he have a favorite color? Could he share some intimate things about what Dylan's interests were? I mean, he was 3 when he went missing, and y'all, he's going to be 8 years old this year. You know, so I'm sure those things would have changed over time. And he did speak a little bit about that. Jason's very passionate. And I like that because he's not afraid to get out here and speak his mind and stand up for what he feels is right to try to get answers to bring his child home. And I just feel terrible that law enforcement, I feel like they've kind of let this family down. Like, I've read so many articles, and there was this group, by the way, on Facebook. Y'all, it is terrible. I mean, some of the things that they have said in there. And I just want to say real quick to the people in chat that were causing derision and blaming Jason, please don't come back to this channel, because we don't do that over here. You need to mind your manners.
Absolutely.
Because what if this was happening to you? Would you want people to be attacking you?
Right.
If your child was missing? There's other parents in this chat right now, and their children, adult or minor, that's missing. I would never stand for that to happen to them either. They deserve respect. They deserve grace. They deserve to be able to tell their story because it's their family.
Right.
And I just want to say thank you for everyone who was here and was very supportive and allowed Jason to speak his truth and get his story out there and to share Dylan's story with us. My heart really goes out to him. The harassment is scary, Elizabeth. It is very scary. And so please do go follow Jason and support him. To all of my subscribers and moderators, if you're from Canada and you can put me in touch with the resources that I can send over to Jason to help him do the things that he is interested in doing, please let me know. You guys can hit me up on my email, which is here on the bottom.
Pam J, she's really good. I like her morals and her values as well. Her link is pinned at the top of the chat box. And I'm going to make a community post and share all of his information as well, so y'all can check him out as well.
Bottom of my screen, Dutchess for the missing at gmail.com, or you can reach me on Facebook, or if we're connected on Discord, you can always reach me over there. And I do appreciate you guys being here. I just felt like this. Was asked to cover this case. I had not heard about Dylan's story, and it's a lot. It's a lot, and I can't wait to see his news article on Global News. That interview. I think it's going to be really good to go back and maybe watch this video to see, what has already been talked about. And I want to, in the future, once he does this interview, I would like to go back and view that with you guys. Can you guys give me some feedback? Will you, if you would like for me to talk about this case again and maybe play that video that Jason recommended for us to watch, that's 44 minutes, we can take a look at that and we can talk about it and maybe talk about this future interview that he's going to be doing with Global News. Are you guys interested in doing something like that? Maybe we can have some panel guests and we can.
Yeah, I like that idea. I think we're going to try to do it as well over here.
About it. Dago, maybe if you want to do that, that would be great. Artic, Cold Case Crystal, if maybe we could just have a little and just discuss it. We've really got to continue to get the awareness out, because we can beat these cases into the ground and go live about the same one child over and over and over, or we can continue to talk about different cases all across the globe and get awareness out in hopes that we can shake things up, get the information out there. Maybe somebody will recognize this child. They can call in a tip. Remember, there is a $20,000 reward. Elizabeth said, can we have him back with our questions? I'm sure Jason would probably be more than happy to do that. He's such a nice guy.
He really is.
Absolutely. And my heart, like I said, goes out to him. This definitely needs more coverage. So guys, make sure you share this stream out. I know Dago's going to cover it, so make sure to tune in for that. I've got a premiere on the case tomorrow. Tune into that. We need as many eyes on this as possible.
That's right, Mike. Nobody knows what happened to Dylan. We can't be accusing people. Facts and evidence matters. Facts and evidence matters. And that's the only thing that has any weight. Our opinions are not going to solve these cases. I am not a detective. I am not law enforcement. I am simply advocating to keep these missing children and missing adults' faces and factual information circulating, because we don't want them to be forgotten. There are so many people that are missing. Once the law enforcement puts it out, then it's on to the next, because more people the very next day are going missing. And what about the people who have been missing? Like Cold Case Crystal and Artic Fox have been doing a lot of cold cases. There's kids that have been missing for 10 or 15 years, and nobody's talking about those cases. That's why we have to come together. That's right, Slim, until they all come home.
Just like Hio was saying earlier about the Michael Donahue case, and then the ones we share in the beginning, that, there's just so many kids missing. It's so sad. Hio said, hashtag find the missing.
We have to keep speaking up for the ones left behind. Yeah. That's right, CLK. It's a lot, especially for people like Cherries, like Christina, like Timmy's Legacy, Barbara. We have a lot of parents that come here because they're seeking their own justice. They're still searching for their loved ones. And we cannot even begin to fathom what they're going through, because we're not walking in those shoes. So we have to learn to have compassion and empathy. So when I get that flyer made, I will post it. I will send it to Artic, and we will be sharing it out far and wide. And Zena, I appreciate you so very much, my dear friend. Thank you. And I did see Jaded pop in here earlier. Thank you, Jaded, for popping in here. All my Canadian friends, if you could please share this out for little Dylan and his dad and his mom. I just hope that he can be found and that they can find the answers that they need and deserve. I just do want to express, though, once again, we have another case where law enforcement may not have done the exact job that they needed to do.
Yep.
And that is disappointing.
Yep.
But we also have another family that is fighting these Facebook groups and these people that are going real life with the doxing, the threats, the harassment.
I hate that shit.
I just don't understand how that's
I don't
helping.
either. I don't. I really don't.
Because we're not going to do that on this channel.
We're not going to do it here either.
Wings of Mercy is great. I understand that they donated a drone to help look for Dylan. So that is wonderful. I appreciate you, Zena. Thank you, Timothy. Timmy's Legacy, for being here.
All right. I think that's about it. Again, I'm gonna drop his links on my community wall with the poster. Again, I'll make sure that the links for his YouTube and TikTok are on there. I'm gonna work on finding his Facebook. They're probably linked in Dutchess's in the description box on her channel. She is linked at the top of this page. Please check her out. Artic Fox True Crime is in the description box. Please check him out. Especially those of my people in Canada. Please make sure you share them out. Rubber Ramada said, stop fighting and find the missing. Exactly. That's what we need to do. It's not worth it. Also, thank you, Hio. Hio put a new Sarah Boone video out. So please head over there and check that out. She dropped the link just there. Please make sure you go check out her new Sarah Boone video. She's doing a good job. Thank you. Yes. So I'll put out that community post. I'll see y'all at 7:30 at Dutchess's. I'm going to go watch Hio's video on Sarah Boone. Hope y'all will too. Stay safe out there, everyone. Group hugs. I love y'all all. Thank y'all for being here. My little channel is nothing without y'all. I could talk to myself for hours and I would be nothing without y'all. I love y'all so much. Thank you for being part of the Speculating family. Please don't forget to hit the thumbs up and I shall see y'all tomorrow. Until then, I hope you have a good night. Bye.